You're the reason why I'm traveling on. Oh, should stop singing Bob Dylan. The show's recording. Anyway, wow, what a day. It's Sunday. I'm live. Trumpstein is already here. If you could get double tapping on the screen, that would get some people in here. And I suspect we're going to have some interesting calls today. W's in the chat for Scout, who's already doing her cameo in the back. Yeah, I am not even clear on the details of what happened last night. I was trying to get some clear information. It sounds like there were some shots fired, and then people are already jumping to conspiracy theories about what happened. For those who are just not even aware of what I'm talking about, last night was the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and there was a shooting of some kind. The shooter, interestingly, was not unalived. They captured him, which is always my preference. Whenever there's something like a mass school pew-pewing or whatever, I always prefer that we catch the guy. Not because I care about him, but just because it's better for understanding these people, trying to figure out, the investigation. The people get better justice when the person gets to sit in prison for a long time. It's just generally preferable. So I'm curious what'll come of this one. But it is just another one, right? I mean, it's the left is very immediately calling it a false flag information. Can't talk. The left is very immediately calling it a false flag operation, which I'm just not that quick to jump to conspiracy theories. I technically peddle in conspiracy theories. It's kind of what I do. Everything that's happened with the who sent me a heart me already? Tarantula. Good to see you again. Thank you for the heart me. Yeah, I do peddle in conspiracy theories. What right wing woke, dude? Hit the request button on your screen. Come. If you think I'm gaslighting about anything, please tell me. Let's talk about it. People want to see us have a conversation, so please. Anyway, I don't think he's going to hit the request button, but I implore him to. I'm not going to respond further in the chat to you. Anyway, I do peddle in conspiracy theories. Like Epstein, the whole situation is a conspiracy, but I'm not going to finish that point. I am going to pop over to Paleo Steven. We're going to say hello to Paleo Steven and make sure that he knows what show he called into, because some people don't always right at the beginning. Paleo Steven, how old are you?
Oh, I'm over 50.
Sorry, say that again. You were turned down.
I'm over 50.
I believe you. Could you tell me exactly how old you are? Do people like it for context?
I'm 62.
62. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I was wanting to talk about your gaslighting show preempt.
So just to start, because I think this is important. Would you define gaslighting for me?
Gaslighting? Propaganda. Nothing supported by any real substance or facts. It's basically your opinions as to how your delusions are as to what you think you see and know.
Okay, so that's not what gaslighting is. Do you want me to educate you on what gaslighting is?
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, gaslighting is specifically a psychological.
Propaganda.
It's a specific psychological manipulation technique where you get a person to question their own sanity, to make them believe you over their own memories. It has a history. There's a movie from 1944 called Gaslight where the idea comes from, and then it became popular more recently as a way to talk about abuse, usually between domestic partners, between people in a relationship with each other. So you're just declaring that it's propaganda.
No, it's propaganda. What you just said is propaganda. That's propaganda.
I mean,
no, you're wrong.
According to whom, dude? Like, what kind of dictionary do you use?
When the news media is gaslighting the public,
I Googled it, and the first result is from the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
You Googled it, so you don't have an answer yourself. You look to the internet.
No, I gave you my answer, but now I'm telling you what the Google says. Do you want Merriam-Webster? Can we look at Merriam-Webster? That's a dictionary. Can we look up what the word means in a dictionary?
There are millions of different kind of interesting subjects you can research on the web.
From medical news today, gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse where a person causes someone to question their sanity, memories, or perception of reality. Almost exactly what I said.
So that's what the press does. That they question people's sanity, or they just misconstrued the facts and only give facts that they correspond with their beliefs.
Who told you that gaslighting is just propaganda? Because I that's not what it means. Like I gave multiple sources. I'm going to ask you to give me a source.
I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole. This is what you guys do. Here's the thing. Here's the whole thing. You guys,
we are going to go down the rabbit hole. That's the whole point of the show. Just so you know, is we go down the rabbit hole and figure it out. Like that's what we do. It's a talk show. So yeah, what the fuck are we doing if not going down the rabbit hole?
Now, what you do is you indoctrinate people and you try to brainwash people and you're trying to sway people's minds because of the midterms and that you people are all the same. You use the internet for this or that or the other. You can't talk about any substance.
So I do this thing on my show where I don't allow a guest to move on to a bunch of other stuff until we settle something, and we haven't settled the definition of the word gaslighting. I do interrupt people. I don't use the mute button. That's why I have to interrupt people so much. I'm going to keep talking until you quiet down and listen, because we're not going to move on to any of the other things you talked about until we address your definition of gaslighting. I'd like to know who told you that gaslighting is propaganda.
There it is.
There's what? I'm holding you to the thing where...
You people are fraud.
We disagree about the definition of the word gaslighting. I've given my side of it. I've told you my evidence.
Is a cult of violence when it comes to a party or
we're talking about what gaslighting is, and I'd like for you to demonstrate to me why.
Are you a member? Are you a member of Antifa?
Answer the question. Antifa doesn't have membership, but I am Antifa because I'm anti-fascist. I'm opposed to fascism. But again, I'm not going to let you move on to anything else. Excuse me, Paleo Steven.
Being a domestic terrorist?
It's pretty scary to be defined as a domestic terrorist, but I'm going to ask you again what your definition of gaslighting is.
That's what Antifa has been classified as.
Hello?
Hello?
Dude, do you think that, I'm going to have to kick you if you just talk continuously and don't engage? You're not answering anything that I'm saying.
Because I won't go along with your false narratives. That's why.
You don't know how to go along with a conversation at all. We haven't moved on since from gaslighting. Who told you that gaslighting is propaganda?
Your definition of gaslighting is bullshit.
Okay,
so
I gave sources. Where do you get your definition of gaslighting? Because I use the definition that most people use, which is
What sources do you use? You use all leftist sources, don't you?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a problem with people on the dude. You're not, dude. I'm gonna have to kick you if you don't let me get a single sentence out. This is insane. The chat doesn't like this type of conversation. You're just talking over me continuously, and I'm going to do it to you as well. I'm just gonna yap until you let me make my point out. Okay, I'm gonna continue talking. I can talk forever. I sit here and talk for hours a day. I'm not gonna stop talking until you stop talking and let me get a word in edgewise. I'm gonna keep doing it. I can do it forever. It's a skill I have. I'm gonna keep yapping. Are you able to listen? Are you able to sit and listen and have a back and forth conversation where I say something and then you say something and then I say something back? Are you just gonna continue to yap? All right, I'm gonna have to pull the chat on this one. I'm gonna use the mute button. I'm gonna do it because dude, it's the beginning of the show. You're gonna ruin my podcast. Keep her kick in the chat. Let me know before we give Paley.
I don't care. It just shows what mentality you have. You want to control them.
All right. Yep. So I actually want to talk to people like that, but I just can't do it if they don't engage at all. So we're going to talk to the person who brought up the topic in the first place, which is right_wing_woke. This is somebody who in the chat agrees with the previous caller that gaslighting is just propaganda. So maybe he'll be able to explain why he thinks that. But first, of course, we got to get him up and then ask him the big golden question, which is, how old are you?
51.
51. Okay. What is your definition of gaslighting?
Oh, no, I'm perfectly fine with the definition of gaslighting you're using, but I think what the previous person wanted to say is that political gaslighting is a thing too.
Okay, then that see, look at that. If we had some kind of conversation like that, me and the previous guy, then we would have been able to progress in the conversation because it sounds like you agree on what gaslighting is, and you just are accusing me of doing that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, how am I doing that?
You're just slightly entertaining the notion that this was a staged event. You're not fully committing, but you're not. But I know for one, you're enjoying the schadenfreude of frustrating people, and two, it's good for viewership to say that this is a staged event, even though that we know that this is like the 5th attempt at President Trump's life. You're just going to pretend like none of that's happening because your viewers want you to gaslight, and you enjoy the frustration that gaslighting brings.
Okay, that's a lot of accusations about stuff that I haven't done. I don't have an opinion about whether it was staged. I see a lot of people claiming that, and I don't really see good evidence.
Well, look, do you acknowledge that there's a lot of people on the internet right now who are saying that this is a staged event, even though that they know it's real?
Well, I don't know what they actually know. I do see a lot of people saying that it was a staged event, and I think that they're jumping to that quick.
And I'm just bringing out the financial incentive and the emotional incentive of gaslighting.
Okay, again, you're accusing me. Like, what did I do?
Yes, I am.
Can we talk about what I did?
Your what is it? The handle that you're going under, MAGA can't tell what is true. That is textbook gaslighting. Like, we just went through another assassination attempt, and you're here playing defense for, well, whatever that guy was. You're over here playing defense.
I just wanted to make sure we agreed on the definition of the word gaslighting. I haven't done anything other than that in this show so far.
Yeah, it's.
Can you? There's music in the background. I need you to either get away.
Sorry,
from
I'll go on mute.
Well, no, I'm going to unmute you and ask you just to get away from the music, because it's bad for it's particularly bad for the YouTube VOD. I can't.
Yeah, I'll mute to I'll unmute to respond.
Okay, I mean, I'd prefer you just turn off the music. I don't really understand that. But again, so all I've done in this show in the last 10 minutes is say what gaslighting is. The current caller agrees with me on what gaslighting is, and what is it you're accusing me of? I want to talk about me. I don't know what anybody else is doing. Seems like we agree about.
I'm accusing you of performing confusion to placate your audience.
Okay, I sit here and I give good evidence for the things that I believe in. I give good sources. Like, I get, you need to give me specific examples of what I'm doing that is gaslighting. Like, gaslighting again is specifically
standing in front of a sign saying MAGA doesn't know what's true after we just went through another presidential assassination attempt is gaslighting.
This was true before the attempt yesterday.
You're standing right in the evidence.
This is
standing right next to the evidence.
The sign isn't specific to that. It's just a truth that generally about MAGA Americans. I'm not talking about the assassination attempt.
The timing doesn't correlate with the assassination attempt that we know happened.
No, it's just a sign I just chose to make today.
You're phenomenally passive aggressive.
I am a little passive aggressive. That's definitely a tool in the toolbox here. But again, the sign isn't about that. You're just reading into things that I'm not saying. So, like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's called gaslighting, my guy. You're trying to
You're telling me that my sign says something that it doesn't, and you're accusing me of gaslighting?
Now we're doing Darvo.
What is this called, man? I don't get, like, what you're trying to argue. Like, what are you accusing me of?
Yeah, I'm saying that you're a passive aggressive manipulative hack who's trying to profit off of another assassination attempt. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I understand the words. I'm not. What exactly did I do that makes you think that I'm trying to profit from an assassination attempt? I do this show every day at 10 o'clock. Nothing's different.
Yeah, you want to grow your audience, right?
Every day.
Your audience is mostly leftist. Your audience is mostly leftist.
No, among debate hosts, I actually have a surprisingly mixed audience because I operate in such good faith that I actually have a lot of right-leaning followers who appreciate the way I run my show.
You're catering to a mostly socialist, mostly anti-family, anti-natalist, anti-Semitic.
So just to stay on one thing, because I know you're struggling with that. So I said that I do this show every day at 10 o'clock. You're accusing me of, like, grifting because of an assassination attempt. Should I have just canceled my show for the day because the president had an attempt on his life yesterday?
If you have moral courage, yes, you should cancel your show.
Why would I cancel my show?
I don't expect you to. Hey. That's what I would prefer. You could do whatever you want. I'm just saying. You asked me.
I know you want me to not. I know that it makes you very upset that I do my show at all. I'm just saying, like, should I have seen? Oh no, the president was almost assassinated. I should cancel my news and debate show because I don't want to profit. Like, really? Do you think should the news networks cancel their show for the day?
You're just a grain of sand in the beach when it comes to the negativity of the political left, though. You're just one grain of sand.
One little guy, yeah, one dude. What is your point? What are we talking about, dude? What is this fucking conversation?
Yeah, I think I pretty much got it. I think I'm going to try and relay that message to another gaslighting hack.
Because your shit's not working on me, so you're going to run? Yeah, okay. I'm pretty used to it. Yeah, they try their thing. I go, nope, not going to work on this host. And then they go, I'm going to go try it on some other host. Good luck with that, buddy. There's lots of people on here who are inexperienced at this, not as articulate and not as good at strong-arming these sorts of conversations, which I have to. It's just an arm wrestling match talking over these people because I don't use the mute button. Steve-O-US, Steve-O-US with an X on the end, is next. We're going to talk to Steve-O. Steve-O's going to tell us how old he is. Hey,
I'm 57.
57. What, are you a Trump supporter?
No, I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
He was gaslighting you. It's so ironic.
Yeah, it's very ironic.
Literally, that was the definition. He was gaslighting you.
Telling me,
what he does is,
go ahead.
And he makes Democrats, he tells Democrats that they're, what's the word I was looking for? I used it in the comments. Shoot. of deception themselves, that they're deceiving. They're deceiving, and just all that name calling of all the Democrats. It's just ridiculous. Or liberals.
I think it was very funny that at the end of the call, he actually admitted that he was just going to go try it on somebody else because it wasn't working on me. it's yeah. Anyway, anything else before you go? I'm going to let you go.
No, that's fine. That's it.
You have a good one, Steve. W's in the chat for Steve for popping up, making me feel better. We got one friendly, two negatives. Though I do only want to talk to negatives generally. So do get in the request box if you are a Trump supporter. We can talk about what happened yesterday. I was like doing some reading last night before I went to bed. I've been doing some reading this morning. I'm not like so. Everybody seems very, very, very sure that it was a staged thing, which I like is a reasonable thing to suspect from an administration that lies this much. But I got to be really, really sure on my grand conspiracies. It's like it's a journalistic integrity thing. I believe in the grand Epstein conspiracy. That's a conspiracy theory. It's one that happens to be obviously true because all of the suspicious behavior and lying and hiding of evidence is happening in broad daylight. So when there's another conspiracy theory like that an assassination attempt was staged, I just need to be like agnostic. I need to be shown that. I need to be proven that, and I haven't. Maybe because there's so much division about this, I can have friendlies up today and we can talk about whether or not it's staged, and people can try to convince me that it was staged. But I'm not going to assume that. I'm not going to jump to that right away. And both callers have it was both, right? Both accused me of thinking it was like staged and trying to peddle propaganda about it being staged. And I'm just not doing that. So yeah, the Carolyn Levitt thing was a little, I think was a coincidence. She said that there's going to be shots fired tonight. I genuinely think she was speaking figuratively and obviously regrets saying something that happened to have literal meaning for the night because there was a shooting. I don't think that that's good evidence. There was a news correspondent interviewing live with Fox News who said that the person sitting next to her told her that she needed to be safe and that something like that, and then she got cut off live on air. That's suspicious. I want to know what that's about. Everybody's telling me it was 100% staged. Like, no all caps in the chat. Please stop that. I don't allow all caps. It's disruptive. Lone Wolf, you are angling for some kind of muting or ban. We got It's Me Jumpy 97. 97. I'm going to guess that he's 28-ish. Is that correct? Are you 28-ish years old?
I am, dude. You're a math whiz.
I'm decent at math. I don't think that was a super hard math. I was born in 95, so I kind of just did the math. Anyway, yeah, you're a Trump supporter?
I'm not, buddy. I was just going to ask you a couple questions about what happened last night.
It's such a big news day, I will just allow it, because normally I kick people who are friendlies this early in the show. But yeah, what are your questions?
My main question is, did you see anything about a Secret Service agent being injured?
No, I haven't seen that yet. I mean, there's tons coming out, and I'm regrettably not as up to speed as I'd hoped to have been by 10 a.m. today. But
they're claiming that a Secret Service agent was pew-pewed in the chest and was saved by the vest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's an interesting detail if that's the case. But
so I guess my main question, or my main reason for that question is, if a Secret Service agent is pew-pewed in the chest, why was the man not pew-pewed back?
Yeah, that's actually something I think I said that at the beginning when I was just kind of going over the news roundup at the beginning. It is suspicious that the shooter wasn't unalived, which is just normally even if it's not the president, just when there's this type of mass pew-pewing that happens, usually the shooter is unalived by responding officers, which I think is reasonable. They got to protect life and property. So like, I'm not saying that we should, be pacifists towards, assassins or mass shooters or whatever. It is just very, very interesting that he survived. I think it's good. Of course, we can interview him. We can have a court case. We can investigate that. That's like good for what happens next. It is just interesting. Like, I don't know. I want to see the security footage. Is there some action hero Secret Service agent that like leapt across the table and tackled him after he got a couple of shots off? I want to know exactly how this guy made it out alive, because I think if I did what he did, I don't think I'd make it out alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it was suspicious that at a high security event like that, how someone was able to get through with a pistol and shotgun and knives, and it just doesn't make any sense. The approval ratings are on the decline. They're in the dump.
Well, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, as like controversial a thing it might be to say, it's not surprising to me that there have been so many attempts on Trump's life. He's doing some stuff that's bad for America. So like, yeah.
But I also agree with you that Caroline Levitt was speaking figuratively.
Yeah, I don't put any weight into that. I do have some other people in the queue, so I'm going to let you go, but feel free to call
no worries, buddy.
later
I
on.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for hopping up. We're going to have Imjustjimmymore back. I spoke to him the other day, but I don't remember what about, so I'll ask him to remind me first how old he is.
Buddy, what are you saying, bro?
I'm saying...
God, just spewing incoherent nothingness.
Okay, I was saying that I'm not convinced that it was a false flag staged operation. I haven't seen good evidence of that, and we were just discussing some of the details that we do know about what happened yesterday.
Radical liberals, am I right? Buddy, get me off of this. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Hold on. MAGA can't tell what is true, right?
Yeah, you guys really struggle with that.
Can we agree that Donald Trump won the 2024 election?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your point is proven. Disproven. I can't tell what is true.
The reason he won the election is because his constituents can't tell what's true. They believed his lies.
What lies?
That illegal immigrants are dangerous, for example. Or bad for the economy. Or that he's going to fix grocery prices. Or that his tariffs are going to be good for the economy. Like, there's a bunch of stuff. Or that he's not going to start any new wars. Definitely not going to start a war in Iran, right? Believe that bullshit.
Jesus. See, this is why more people voted for Trump.
Can you answer to any of the things I just said?
What did you just say? I was just like everything you were saying was just incoherent. It was kind of hard to comprehend.
Okay. When Trump
your question?
When Trump was running for president, he said he wasn't going to start any new wars. Would you say that was true?
He didn't start the war. He probably got involved with it.
He absolutely. Why did he calling it a war? Why is Hegseth calling it a war? We weren't at war with Iran. That's nonsense. That's not true.
Yeah, he got involved with the war. He didn't start it.
We weren't at war with Iran. He did start it.
You're saying he started the war.
Yeah, he started the war.
We're just helping Israel, right? They were already in a war.
Okay, so you're in denial about Iran. I don't think I'm going to get you to budge on that. He said that he was going to fix grocery prices day one. Was that
Get out of here,
was
buddy.
That true?
You don't know what you're talking about.
Was that true that he... All right, he ran. We're going to talk to Jacob Ekman. Jacob.Ekman. Jacob.Ekman, please tell me how old you are.
19. I'm not opposition. I just wanted to respond to what that guy said.
Today's an interesting day, given what happened yesterday, so I'm going to allow it.
You're lucky. You're lucky that you're actually getting opposition. Like me and a few other, I don't know if you know who Matt is, but there's a bunch of people on this app. We're not getting any opposition at all. None.
Well, yeah, it's I don't know what your viewership is, but it kind of ebbs and flows. I had periods where I had a lot of opposition when I started doing this, and then I scared away all the regular guys who were just looking for easy targets because I'm pretty good at this. And then it was I had a lull where it was hard to get opposition, but now I've just gotten my viewership up enough that people still want to talk to me. So it comes and goes.
Yeah, I think my viewership is like I usually kind of get 100, 200 usually. However, obviously that depends. But yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't understand. Like I started doing this like a year ago, last summer, and you were getting opposition, people that weren't fucking psychos. I also wanted to say that guy was talking about the 2024 election. What about 2020? Like Trump still to this day denies a 2020.
Yeah, I mean, and he did a whole bunch of very obviously illegal stuff. He pardoned the J6 rioters and insurrectionists, which is just absolutely insane. I'm sure. You know all the talking points. You're another debate host. Yeah, it's just bananas. They come up, and then as soon as I ask them to defend the fact that they fell for something that obviously wasn't true, they run away. I think that one thing that gets me to have more ops call in, though, I will just say, I don't know if you're aware of the little shtick I do on this show. I don't use the mute button. Like, it's real rare. I'm really unless they're totally just yelling at me for 30 seconds straight, I never use the mute button. And I think it makes them think that they're making a better case for themselves, but I think it makes them look real bad because people just see the way they yammer away while I'm trying to bring them back to the question they didn't answer.
I only mute them if they're filibustering or they're just straight up yelling. I try not to use it. But it's the whole point of I match energy. So if somebody's gonna go around yelling and just not even addressing my point, I'm gonna have to say dude, just address the point instead of pivoting.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go because I got somebody in the queue. But everybody go follow Jacob.Ekman. He's another host. Go check him out. I don't know if he's any good, but
well, you can follow me, man, and you can come by sometime. I'll be live later today.
I'll give you a follow, and also some people I trust in the chat have said that you run a good live, so I'm not just completely talking out of
I'm all right.
All right. Well, maybe I'll check it out. I'll catch you later.
And yes, I have met Popcorn. I plan on actually doing a fundraiser to permaban him. So
that's fun. All right, I'll catch you later. All right, we've got Bug. Bug, how old are you? Hello, Bug?
51.
51. What do you want to talk about? Are you a Trump supporter?
51.
51. Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm actually independent.
Okay.
I just was reading your sign there.
I hear you. Maybe call back in a little bit later. I'm going to let you go because I got lots of people in the queue. We're looking to talk to Trump supporters right now. We got Point Kowalski. We're going to ask Point Kowalski how old he is and then start the conversation. If he connects. I always try to time it better than that. How old are you, Point Kowalski?
I'm 72 years old.
70,
white male.
72 years old. Do you support Trump?
72. Yeah. Yes. There's nobody else right now, is there?
What do you mean?
I mean, the Democrats are all pansies.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, they sure are.
All right, Scott, I'm going to ask you to wait while I talk to Point Kowalski. Please stay muted or I'm going to have to boot you.
Okay, and I would just like to say one thing about the assassination attempt.
Okay.
That I don't think, being that I have more experience with I grew up in the black community with the brothers, and he's like a octoroon or a quadroon. He's part black, so he was tortured.
Who? By
darker skinned.
Who?
The guy the assassination guy who tried to kill Trump. He's part black, right?
I don't know. I saw a picture of him. He didn't look totally white to me, but I don't know.
I know. Well, I grew up in the black community, and I grew up with guys like him.
So you can tell that he's a quarter black from this photograph of him that's circulating?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah, completely. He's a quadroon. Because I grew up with guys like that.
Quadroon has to be a slur, right? Like, what are you talking about? Is that like a muggle? Like, you talking about?
Whatever. He's a quarter black. Look, I know you're afraid of black guys, so you probably have never told a black guy to go fuck himself, right? Have you ever told a black guy to go fuck himself?
I grew up in New York.
I have.
I grew up in New York. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I've told all types of people to go fuck themselves.
Really? Okay, that's pretty cool then.
Equal opportunity, go fuck yourselfer is what I am.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I respect that, being that you're not a big guy.
I'm bigger than I look. No, I'm not that big, but I am bigger than I look.
Yeah, I'm 6'5". I played basketball. Anyway.
Wow, how great. What are we talking about?
Okay, now let me explain something to you. He's overcompensating. He may be overcompensating for lack of black.
Who?
The assassination guy.
He's overcompensating for not being black enough.
Yes, exactly. That's one of the things of guys like that. So he may be doing it to get attention because he's been tortured being.
What about the other assassination attempts who weren't a quarter black, according to you?
Well, I'm not talking about the others. I'm talking about this one.
You're talking about this one because he's a quarter black. It sounds like you're just racist, that you just have things to say because you saw some skin that wasn't
come
white.
on, don't call me racist, okay?
I'm going to take my...
don't say that.
I'm going to take Diava's...
Don't call me racist because I say something. See, now you're a punk. Now I would have...
It's not, I'm sorry. I got to let people like that go. It's just not worth it. Scott, how old are you, Scott?
50.
Okay. I'm just going to judge by the tone of your voice that this conversation is going to maybe go a little bit smoother than that one, hopefully. What do you want to talk about, Scott?
Democrats.
What about them?
I don't like a single Democrat.
Okay.
I'm from the same city where you're at, Minneapolis.
Okay. So, I mean, I that's interesting. I'm interested to hear that because I think that among people on the right, it's been easier to tell how devastating what ICE has been doing if you live here, because it's not easy to convey on the internet or on the news how disruptive to our life here Operation Metro Surge was. Are you in the city? Do you live in Minneapolis?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and you say you don't like any Democrats. And
I'm from the South Side.
Okay. Yep. I'm in Whittier, if you know that neighborhood.
Phillips neighborhood.
Okay, yeah, we're close neighbors.
Yep.
We're close neighbors. So I mean, I guess broadly, because you've just said like that you generally don't like any Democrats at all. I guess you
guys destroyed my neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny that. Honestly, you're talking about the Floyd riots?
I'm talking about more than that, right? With drugs and mental illness.
Do you think that that's the Democrats' fault?
Absolutely, 100%.
What did the Democrats do that caused people to have mental illness?
What they're doing is they're letting people with delusions walk around, and they are totally insane, and they're creating an unsafe environment, and they're unsafe to themselves.
Okay.
Even.
So I want to avoid the DRUG thing just because TikTok really doesn't allow it. I'd love to talk about that as
sure,
issue.
we can call them illegal chemicals. Fine.
Well, yeah,
let's go for it.
We can refer to them as...
Yeah, no, we can talk about it because that's one of the big problems our city faces.
Scott, I'm just guiding the conversation a little bit, so let me say what I was going to say, which is that I'd like to talk about the mental illness issue because it is a real issue everywhere that homeless people are widely mentally ill. Almost all of them are mentally ill in some diagnosed way. A lot of them have traumatic brain injuries or really serious issues like schizophrenia, like really, really bad mental illness. So you're blaming the Democrats for that. And I just really want to understand how you think it's the Democrats' fault that people who are mentally ill struggle to function in their lives and often become homeless and then end up, doing illegal substances on the street and doing, nobody likes having a big homeless population in the city. It's not good for the city.
Sure.
But cities that are good tend to have big homeless populations because those people come here why? Obviously, like if we wouldn't want to be such a shithole that homeless people don't want to come here. So we build a good city, we build a good community, and yes, one of the things that comes with that is that people who are struggling come to such places for better opportunity, and you're blaming the Democrats for these people being mentally ill.
And they're not able to get no opportunity, and basically
we're trying to give them opportunities. That's what the Democrats are doing. We're trying to give those people opportunities so they can get their lives back on track. What are the Republicans doing to help?
Well, no, absolutely not. You're not helping. You're creating a worse environment, a more dangerous environment. You understand HCMC
How are we doing
on the brink of closing,
so
right?
This is the same thing as when people accuse
because Democrats exploited healthcare. That's why they're on the brink of closing, by the way. They're not offering quality service to these mentally ill people either.
We're trying to. It's generally Democratic policies, Democratic mayors and governors and state representatives that push for those sorts of things because they just handle on a state level. This is not really a federal level political issue. This is a states' rights issue. So again, like the Democrats are pushing for the policies that would actually fix the problems that you're talking about. And I'm asking you exactly what it is you're accusing the Democrats of doing. You're mad at us for doing something. What did we do?
Baby boy, you were born in 95. I was here way before you. I don't think you've really seen the decline in Minneapolis.
Yeah, we do live in a world where the internet can tell you about the past, and that's pretty exciting. So again, I'm just going to ask my question again. What exactly did the Democrats do that you're so mad at us about?
They made Minneapolis a very dangerous place to live.
So which governor, which Democratic governor signed the bill that said make Minneapolis more dangerous at the top of it? Like, what did we do? Like, what was the action?
It's your inactions that's doing it.
Okay. So we failed to respond. Complicit. Okay, so we failed to respond to a situation that happened out of our control. What should we have done?
You're all complicit to the results that we're currently
then what
facing.
Should we have done if we were so inactive? What was the thing that you wish we had done that would have fixed it?
And not perverted the law.
How did we pervert the law?
In many, many ways. So number one, May 5th, 2025, Mary Moriarty, our Hennepin County attorney, put in the law.
You said that this problem was from before I was born. The decline has been for decades. This is far too recent an event to make sense.
It continues.
No, you brought your expertise, you brought your age and your wisdom, and I want to levy that. That's exciting. I've got somebody so old and wise on my show.
I could teach you something.
Yeah. And I'm actually trying to get you. But I was here in 2025.
You should see my page. It's all about Minneapolis.
That was last year. So I just want to bring us back because you have information from before I was born about how the Democrats caused all this or negligently didn't stop it or whatever it is you're trying to say. So let's just go back to the beginning. What exactly did we do?
So you guys decided rather than to enforce the law.
Which law?
Criminal law.
Which ones?
You decided you're going to control crime. You decided that's that's the new policing, is that you're going to control crime
When
rather
and
than
who and which
prevent it.
crimes? Well, I
So
said 20.
basically, you all basically became criminals.
What are you talking about? What year, roughly? I said 2025 is too recent. When are we talking about? What Democratic leadership? Who? Details.
Well, my main concern here is Walls's term, which stretches back like 8-10 years. So that's what I'm concerned about. And so, along with his term,
Wait,
there,
I'm
you got
30.
all the
You're saying I
basically
wasn't
the
old
same
enough. Wait.
people
I
in
just want
office.
to make sure I'm tracking the details of this conversation properly. You said I'm not old enough to understand this, right?
Well, you're not old enough to know that the city of Minneapolis has declined.
Okay, so I moved to Minneapolis in 2016, and he became governor in 2017. So he's been like, you know. Oh wait, no, that's the House Veteran Affairs. Sorry, I misread the thing. Where did his term start? When did his governorship start? My goodness, Wikipedia is failing me. I just want to get the year right. Oh yeah, right. 2019. So he's been the governor for the last 5 years. I've been living here for 10 years. I've been following politics very, very closely, and I'm very familiar with the sorts of things that he's done.
No, he's been governor longer than that.
You're saying, okay, so he assumed office on January 7th, 2019. Are you saying that's wrong?
Yeah, no, that's right. But yeah, that's what, about 7 years now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did the thing where it's been about 5 years since about 2020. So yes, 7 years. But yes, so again, I'm aware of all that. Again, you're saying that I'm too young to understand all this.
We got Mayor Frey that's still in there, and then
now we're talking about Frey. Okay, again, like
no, we're talking about all the Democrats. You're all bitches.
I'm trying to understand what the Democrats did that made you so upset. You're so old and wise and upset. I want to know why.
Because you're all a bunch of racist little bitches.
Okay, what did we do that made you think, wow, look at those racist little bitches?
Well, let's check out your ideology once. I'm going to prove you out to be a racist real quick. You ready?
No, my butthole's clenched. Let's go.
So do you believe that people of color is a racist statement when you use that statement?
No, most people of color prefer that that's the phrase that we use to refer to them.
So what are you saying? You're colorless?
No.
What, you believe that you're their advocate? You know, that's
what?
You're a white supremacist is what you are, you little bitch.
How? What? I'm not following your argument at all. What did I do?
You believe that you're people of color's advocate?
Yeah. I like to think I'm a good ally. I work on that.
Yeah, House Supreme. Little bitch.
Okay. What did I do that makes me a white supremacist?
Because you believe that statement people of color is not a racist statement.
Okay, so thinking that people of color should be referred to as people of color, which they generally prefer, makes me
I'm a person of color.
I think that you know what people mean when they say a person of color.
No, I think what you mean is it's all right to be a racist white supremacist. You know, you guys got a colorless section now, right?
What are you talking about, dude? You're not making any sense to me.
We're all people of color.
We all have some kind of race, yeah.
We're all people of color.
Right.
But you would like to include in the law, policy, and procedure that statement, wouldn't you?
I don't. Which laws are we talking about? You're just moving on to like different.
Yeah, May 5th, 2025. In
okay, so we're gonna ignore the whole thing about you being old and wise. We're gonna ignore the whole thing about walls. We're gonna ignore the whole thing about the fall of Minneapolis.
800,000 to the BIPOC community. How about that? You think that's racist?
Sorry, you're talking about something that the Hennepin County AG, Mary Moriarty, did. I'm not actually familiar with specifically.
How about no bail on 17 felonies because people of color can't bail out?
What?
Yeah, that's what they did here in Minnesota.
Okay. So you're talking about a particular.
Keith Ellison.
Dude, slow down. Like I'm actually.
You guys are some racist little bitches, is what you are.
Are you having a stroke, dude? Like, what is going on? Like, you just keep, like, you're like a soundboard.
No, I don't like you. How about that?
It's clear that you don't like me. I'm trying to understand
really
why, and you're not even, like, I'm giving you the floor. 300 people,
why don't you see my
300
page?
people are here to watch you explain why you don't like me.
And off of TikTok.
Well, 300 people are here, and they want to know why you don't like me, and I don't even know why you don't like me. I can't quite figure it out.
Because you're a Democrat.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with anything I did other than being on the left.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta remove him. Yeah, harassment and bullying. Okay, well, that was fun. Cool. This is the most viewers I've ever had from sitting in a chair talking. So thanks everybody who's here. Follow me if you're not following me, and get double tapping away on the screen because we don't have a guest at the moment, and the show is gonna suffer if we don't get somebody to come up and try to explain something to me. Today has been interesting. I don't think there's been a good argument made, and when I say a good argument, of course, nobody calls in and makes good arguments. I just mean like good in a subjective judgment sort of sense about whether or not the call is worth watching. Like, has anybody called in and made a cohesive argument? Ooh, thanks for the hat. TikTok hat. Ooh, I'd like to have a hat like that in real life. That'd be a fun prop. Factsoverfeelings.org says, share the live. Yeah, if you could share the live and get it out there, are there any Trump supporters in the chat? Like, I hopefully you can tell from the way that this is going so far that I'm not going to jump down your throat, like, immediately. You really need to give me good reason to start, like, getting yippy and angry or whatever. I generally just, like, am chill. Okay, we got WRBV and then in parentheses, Redbeard Videos. Interesting. I guess he got the plug. Congratulations. Redbeard Videos. How old are you?
What? I am 49 years old.
You a Trump supporter?
I am not.
Ooh, really, really quick. Say your piece and then get out of here because it's bad for the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it was bad for the show. I just was enjoying that guy's crash out, and I just wanted to point out, you had said something earlier, and then I left, about trying to talk you into this maybe being staged.
Yeah, if you've got reason, I see some of the reason. I'm not asserting that it was definitely staged the way a lot of people are. I just think
I think it's too early for that too, myself, honestly. And plus it's very disrespectful, and it just goes down the pipe of, like, what if a real assassination happens, and then we're all going to be like, well, that was staged too, even though they were successful. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be horrible. It's a horrible path to go down. But the one thing, I just want to point out a few things. Earlier this week, like, there was a lot of chatter about the Butler incident being staged. So that lends to this being a fake. The fact that it was in the same hotel as Reagan, that lends to this being a fake.
Sorry, because you're friendly. I'm just gonna drop you because, again, like, a lot of that is just, these details will come out, but I'm just not interested in, like, speculative details about everything that happened. So let's get double tapping away on the screen. Let's get a Trump supporter in here to talk about it, or somebody who's got, we got Natalie Tampa. Natalie Tampa, how old are you?
How do I do it?
You're live. I can hear you. You just got to tell me how old you are.
Oh, a lot older than you.
I do just like to get my guest's age for reasons that I will explain after you give me your age.
50-something.
Okay, I'll give you the decade. I'm frankly just kinder to people who sound like women to me about the age thing. It really just is that it's good for context about your political perspective, and then also people who refuse.
I'm 58 years old, and I used to be a Democrat, and then I switched because my father switched. He was Air Force, and when he switched because the entire Democratic Party went crazy.
Okay. How do you feel about how the Republicans are doing currently?
Wonderful.
That's unfortunate to hear. How do you feel about them hiding the Epstein files?
Hiding what? There's nothing to hide. They're out there.
They're not.
Get online.
No, there's
like
half of them haven't been
300,000 pages that you can sit and read if you have that much time.
3 million actually, but that's not all of them.
Yes.
That's a lot of pages, but it is not all of them. Are you asserting
it's a bunch of BS. I mean,
Natalie,
Trump was friends with Epstein.
Natalie, I can't have you on the show if you're not able to have some kind of conversation with me. I have a question.
Okay.
The question
what would
is,
you like to say?
Do you understand that 3 million files that's out is not all of them? It's about half of them. There's about 3 million that haven't been released, that are supposed to be released, according to the law.
Oh, yes. I absolutely understand that. And I agree with not releasing some of it, because if I was an Epstein person that was violated in that situation, I wouldn't want my name released.
Okay, but the names that they're protecting, as is shown by the redactions done on the half,
are mostly Democrats.
Well, we don't know the names that are redacted because they're redacted. We would like to know what they are, and if they are Democrats, those Democrats belong in prison, and if they're Republicans, they belong in prison. The important thing isn't whether they're Democrats or Republicans, it's that they did terrible, terrible things to women and children, and we should
100% agree.
Great.
I 100% agree.
Okay, so let me just give you one very specific example of something that was found in the publicly released Epstein files, which is only half of them, which is that there's an email of a person thanking Jeffrey Epstein for the torture video that he sent him. So this is a person who receive material, not only displaying a crime that was committed, but it's actually a crime to share that sort of material for personal gain, which is what he was doing. He thanked him for it. And we don't know who sent Jeffrey Epstein that email because his name was redacted. That's a bad guy. You can recognize that, right? We should know.
And it's not Trump. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we don't. What if it was Trump? We don't know. We don't know.
Trump told the dude to hit the road like 14, 15 years ago because he knew he was a fucking weirdo.
Okay, you're bringing up other details, but I really want to talk about this guy who thanked Jeffrey Epstein for the torture video. What I'm saying is that the Epstein files...
That's disgusting.
It's very disgusting. The Epstein Files Transparency Act is very, very clear that those sorts of people are not allowed to be protected. Nobody else has been incarcerated. There's no other charges. It's just Maxwell and Epstein. One of them is dead. One of them is currently incarcerated. But we know from examples like that and many, many others that even if we don't talk about Trump for a second, we know that there are many other guilty parties in the Epstein files who aren't being investigated because the investigation...
Absolutely. And not just
Why are you okay
Congress.
with that? Why are you okay with that?
I'm not okay with that. Not at all.
But it's the Republicans that are making that the state of affairs. They are stopping this justice from happening.
No.
You can just say but they voted against it. They tried to stop the files from being released, and now that the law has passed, they're still not following it. The amount of files...
When did this start? Like back in Biden's first couple of...
You have to be very clear when you say a word like this. You just said, when did this start? When did what start?
Yeah. Well, Epstein killed himself, supposedly. I still don't believe that, but...
Ooh, I'm sorry, Natalie. I'll bring it up later, but you just said a phrase that TikTok seriously doesn't like. You have to say self-unaliving about that. Sorry. I actually was enjoying the conversation. Let's get rid of this guy. Big dicks in the chat. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Natalie. Actually, it was a totally good conversation. I really want to continue that conversation with you. You just have to wait 10 minutes. It's 10:46 in my time zone, so if it's 10:56, you can come up and talk about that. It's just really, really in particular. Every 3-day ban I've actually caught has been to do with that phrase or something to do with that phrase. So self-unaliving is the phrase that if we're going to talk about that particular conspiracy theory, which I believe we can. Anyway, Natalie's in the chat. Let's see. Okay, we got 300 and some people watching. Are any of you Trump supporters who want to discuss this stuff with me? I'm pretty bummed that I had to call that one off because it is just to protect the live. I'm sure I'll get accused of running away from the conversation. But until I get another caller, I'll just kind of finish the point I'm making, which is that I don't understand how a caller like that can just assert that it's not the Republicans doing it when it is in broad daylight in front of everybody, very obviously the Republicans doing it. They tried to stop the Epstein Files Transparency Act from being released with 3 noteworthy exceptions. Trump visited those 3 noteworthy exceptions, those Republican members of the House, and begged them not to vote for it with the Democrats, and they didn't. And then when his hand was forced, that's when he finally flipped and said that everybody should go vote for it. It's nonsense. It's crazy. It's pure ignorance, says Nui 13. Absolutely. Big shout out to my moderator DiavaTalks, who's working on getting some people in here, inviting some people from the chat. Somebody says, "There's your proof that it was staged." Again, I haven't seen. When I talk about proof, when I talk about something being absolutely the case, I really need it to be obvious and clear, and I'm not going to go... It would damage my public image to go out and say that this was obviously staged in the way that a lot of people are. I think there's good reason to suspect that it was staged. But if I said that it was obviously true that it's staged, it would discredit every time I've said it's obviously true that Trump is actively hiding the crimes he's implicated of in the Epstein files, because that, I think, is very, very clearly true. There are mountains and mountains and mountains of evidence about that. And I don't want to put the two in the same category until they are. So I love that the chat is blowing up with people mad at me that I can't publicly say that I believe with certainty that it was staged, because the fact is that I just don't. That just hasn't been shown to me yet. There are some suspicious details about what happened at that White House Correspondents' Dinner last night. There are definitely the Fox News feed being interrupted while somebody was talking about it is suspicious, because they were talking about maybe somebody having prior knowledge that it was going to happen, which also isn't necessarily evidence that it was staged. It was just evidence that somebody maybe had prior knowledge of it, which maybe they did. I don't know. Zapit says, released 3 million files. No evidence Trump did anything. Yeah, we suspect that evidence to be in the other in the other 3 million files. Like, Trump is mentioned 35,000 times, something like that, in the publicly released Epstein files. And our representatives have come from looking at their less redacted copies of the Epstein files and say that he's mentioned almost 1 million times if you consider the other half. So most of the information to do with Trump is in the other half of the Epstein files. So if you're getting muted in the chat for saying these things, it's because I want to talk to you with my voice. I want you to hit the request button on your screen and come up and have a conversation with me. People in the chat are saying 35,000 times. It's almost 1 million in the full Epstein files, like 980,000, something like that. Rokana, I believe, is the one who released that number. Correct me in the chat if I got that wrong. I always mix up the names on who found what details about the Epstein files. Thanks for all the follows. 100 extra follows today. It's incredible that I get to sit here every day and just grow the channel and get going. But if you disagree with me about anything, Gooseman hopefully disagrees with me about something. Gooseman, how old are you?
Gooseman. 42.
42. Are you a Trump supporter?
I don't really like saying I'm a supporter, but I did vote for him the last time.
If the election was held again today, would you vote for him again?
Against the same people as last time, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So again, like you can say that you're not a Trump supporter, but yeah, you got to explain yourself on that, dude. Like
But I voted for Hillary the first time.
Interesting. So I'm not going to accuse you of not voting for Kamala for being sexist, which is usually the direction I take. I always got to check on that. And the guests often prove that I'm right. That they're like, I'm not sexist, and then they say a bunch of terrible stuff about women, and I'm like, maybe you're sexist. I'm not sexist. I just think that women shouldn't be the president. It's like, okay. No, that's not you. That's good. But I think that it's interesting when people say this far into Trump's second term that they don't regret voting for him instead of Kamala, because he is really fucking up. Like, I don't even feel like I need to start listing examples. Like, we can pick one, but like, you recognize that he's fucking up big time, right?
I mean, I don't know if I'd say that. I'm not saying, I certainly don't agree with everything that's being done, nor have I ever through any
what do you agree
establishment.
But what is he doing that you do agree with him on?
Well, I guess, what has he done that hasn't been done by any other president in the past?
Okay, this is like a broad thing that I have to talk about every single day on this show, which is that when somebody's president of the United States for 4 or 8 years, it's really difficult to navigate that without having some kind of big fuck up, some kind of big unpopular decision, some type of thing that the Supreme Court says, no, that's unconstitutional. So when I say that like Trump does things that are unconstitutional, for example, people pull up examples like Biden trying to forgive student loans and the Supreme Court finding that unconstitutional, and they go, see, they're the same. And it's like, no, like Biden tried a policy that the Constitution didn't have any prior language on, and it didn't work out, and the Supreme Court shot it down. That's his big constitutional blunder. Trump has a constitutional blunder of that caliber every week. That's the difference. He's constantly, flagrantly, obviously violating the Constitution in ways that are obvious if you read the Constitution. If you read the Constitution, it's not obvious that Biden can't forgive student loans. It's not like clear. It doesn't say it in there. They just made an argument for the legislative branch having power over money like that, and the president shouldn't. That was a decent argument, and it worked. Whereas Trump is doing things like trying to overturn the 14th Amendment and specifically saying that the language in it is wrong. That's different. That's unique to Trump. And he's doing it in an amount that's insane. His lying is...
Yeah, I mean, you can say all kinds of dumb shit. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. He says all kinds of dumb shit.
Yeah, but the president
I'll agree with that all day, of course.
Yeah, but the president's saying all kinds of dumb shit to the point where we can't even have a meaningful conversation about what he says and does is fucking unique to him and bad.
His character is absolutely unique. I'll give you that. Definitely.
Right, but his character blends over into his action because people say, oh, he just said that. He didn't do it. But
I think that's a lot of what it is.
I would say that as the president saying something is doing in action. I'll give you a very specific example of that. In the Big Beautiful Bill last year, Trump changed the rules that took a lot of people off SNAP benefits. A lot of people who were prior eligible are no longer eligible. And then when he had his State of the Union address, he said that he lifted 12 million people out of poverty so they were no longer on SNAP benefits, which is a lie because he didn't do anything for those people. He just literally took their benefits away, declared them no longer impoverished because they weren't on SNAP benefits, and called that a W when those people like really suffered because of it. I'm saying that the president saying that, even though it's only words, is a very terrible thing for the president to do in a way that's different than somebody on the street corner or some dumbass calling into my live saying some bullshit. He has the power for people to believe that and even, create even worse outcomes for those people that he really fucked up the lives of by taking away their food benefits. So I don't accept the argument that he just says crazy things. He's the president. His job is mostly to say things, and he's fucking up big time at that.
You ever hear the saying, which has been around long before Trump, of how do you know if a politician's lying? Their mouth is moving.
I don't think that that's a fair comparison. I don't think that there are flagrant falsehoods that presidents don't peddle. Like the idea that illegal immigrants are bad for the economy is nonsense. It's not what the economists think. It's what racists and bigots think. It's what Republicans in office think. But it's what nobody else who actually understands this thinks. There are these big lies he tells, and you can't find an example of a prior president, Republican or Democrat, telling lies that big. I do believe that.
I don't know if I go with that statement.
Like I said just a couple of minutes ago to you, you can find individual examples of like, oh, this was wrong, or like, oh, were there WMDs in the Middle East, George Bush, or like whatever thing, and just none of those are egregious as the way that Trump constantly lies through his teeth about what is happening. No president has ever taken away food benefits from 10 plus million people, and then declared that he lifted those people out of poverty, which is nonsense. That type of nonsense is utterly unique to Trump, and pointing out an example of a lie told by a prior president just doesn't change that.
I mean, I don't disagree necessarily that he's definitely unique in the way you're presenting that. Certainly. I guess I would go back to, I'd be curious what your take is on my question of, outside of, I mean, so I guess you kind of did just answer that with the lying, fucking, the misrepresentation, but action wise, what has he done that hasn't been done by other establishments in the past? Like outside of just the way he talks about it, like what has actually been done that we haven't done before? Nothing.
I don't.
There's just outrage over it now.
What he's ordered with DHS is absolutely unprecedented. The fact that he's supporting them while they're clearly violating people's civil liberties, that's new. I spent a lot of time on this show answering the fact
Clinton did tons of that. There was just no outrage of it. I can give you clip after clip of Democrats talking about
Clinton. We're talking. Okay, we're not talking. You told me to not talk about words. You told me to not talk about what they're saying. I'm talking about actions. Yeah. When did Clinton send armed men into cities in states that didn't vote for him to take away their civil liberties, to cause mayhem, to tear? I like crashed out about this on the show yesterday. I had somebody who just like wasn't upset that I had to wash tear gas out of an old lady's eyes because she stepped out onto the street in the neighborhood that she lives in, outside of her house, which is a few blocks away from where I live, and Gregory Bovino and two SUVs full of armed goons were there throwing tear gas at people who were yelling at them from the sidewalk, which is a violation of their First Amendment right. And that day, I had to wash tear gas out of an old lady's eyes. What the actual fuck is happening, and why do you think that any president in recent history has done anything of the sort? There's video of this, by the way. This is the Mueller Park incident that I'm talking about, and there's video of me washing tear gas out of an old lady's eyes on this TikTok account. You can go watch it.
Or is this Minneapolis?
Yeah.
I mean, you think if people were doing the same thing they are right now in response to the deportations that were happening under Clinton, do you not think it would have escalated to that?
Most people spend their time on here talking to me about the deportations that happened under Obama, so I'm not as educated about Clinton's removal history. But the reason, I can give you the Obama reason, and I assume it applies with Clinton. I just don't know how many people he deported. They just didn't break people's constitutional rights when they did it. Like Obama
Clinton was the one that got the... I don't mean to totally interrupt you, but Clinton, is the one that got the law passed for the fast deportation path, like that Trump uses the shit out of right now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not against immigration enforcement. I'm against violations of people's civil liberties being used for deportation efforts. That's what I'm saying is happening. Again, can I just, this is just a question I ask every time it comes up. I just told you about a time recently, a couple months ago, where I washed tear gas out of an old lady's eyes because there was a commotion in her neighborhood and she stepped outside and got tear gassed by literally Gregory Bovino and the group that he was with that day. And I just want to know how you feel about the fact that happened to her.
That's terrible for her. I'm assuming the commotion in the neighborhood that you're speaking of was the protesters, correct?
Yeah, we were yelling and whistling and shit. Of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So like,
I mean,
because
I don't
the armed goons
be randomly gassed, of course.
The armed goons that violate people's civil liberties regularly, detain people illegally, destroy people's property illegally, confiscate people's phones illegally. These are people, like if I had gotten arrested, I'm a fast runner, so I've escaped being arrested by these guys lots of times. Like I had a whole plan in place for if my phone got snatched by them, because that's a thing they do. They do a bunch of illegal shit. So yes, we
they'll open your phone illegally, look through the shit.
Yeah. So they do. These are bad guys. And we alert the neighborhood we exercise our First Amendment right to alert the neighborhood that the bad guys are coming. The bad guys came, and yes, we were alerting the neighborhood, and an old lady caught some tear gas. Also, a lot of people got chemical munition that day. A lot of people were hit with. Somebody was shot point blank with a gas canister out of those one little little noob tube things from Call of Duty. Insanity. This is nothing that Clinton ever did. This is nothing any president in recent history has done. It's nonsense for you to make the comparison. I'm saying this is terrible. Those are actions by Trump, and they're bad.
I mean, what you're saying can have more than one truth too. Yes, you think you're there alerting people that are going to be, have their rights broken.
You can disagree
you're
about
also there.
No. You're missing the point. I'm going to cut you right off.
Because there are actual bad people.
You've gotten to the point I was about to bring you back to, because I really want to be clear on this. You can disagree with me about the fact that we don't like what they were doing, but the fact of the matter is that we weren't breaking any laws by alerting the neighborhood to the fact that there was an ICE convoy traveling down 25th Street or whatever it was over by Miller Park.
Not necessarily true if you were actually alerting the person that they're trying to catch, who could actually be a real criminal.
You are wrong about that.
That is,
the Constitution still protects that behavior.
I mean, in public, I would assume so. I would assume you're correct.
Yes,
I'm
right. I am
lawyer,
right.
Course,
what we were doing is constitutionally protected behavior, and they used chemical munitions against us. They used the green gas that is like they're not supposed to use at all because it's like a war crime or something. Like in addition to the tear gas, Like, this isn't okay. You can disagree with me about whether or not you want ICE to accomplish their goals. What I'm saying is that the way that they're accomplishing their goals is violent, dangerous, unconstitutional, illegal, and horrible. And that's why we alert our neighbors when they come. That's why it's devastating that they turn these neighborhoods into temporary war zones where like 3 or 4 blocks of a neighborhood are suddenly clouded up with so much tear gas that people have to evacuate their homes. Like this is insanity. This is mayhem. This is punishment for things that Trump is accusing our governor of, which is not like the idea of punishing the people in a state for the actions of the politicians who run that state. Even if I were to just concede and say that he was right about what our politicians did, it's still just completely unacceptable, authoritarian, fascistic behavior, and you haven't answered to it at all.
Well, I said I think the same thing would have happened had the response escalated under previous administrations.
The reason the response didn't escalate is because they weren't doing those illegal things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, they were. Why were people not out protesting? Well, and so I'm saying that, but I actually know people.
We know that ICE is going into homes without judicial warrants. We know that people are being detained. The Supreme Court is actually rude that they're allowed to detain.
They were absolutely doing that stuff under Obama and Clinton.
You need to prove it, dude. You need to prove it. Again, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. You've been muted by my moderator. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are deported in any given year by the president. So across that many people, you can find an example of some ICE agent doing something bad and go, see, ICE agents have always been bad. But no, we're not talking about like one person doing one bad thing. Trump's ICE, the newly expanded ICE under DHS, under Kristi Noem, under Donald Trump, before she was fired under Kristi Noem, are their modus operandi is to operate illegally. Every one of them is doing these horrible things. Every single time I encountered ICE agents in Minneapolis during Metro Search, which was a lot, I witnessed with my eyes constitutional violations that are not just like minor, like, ooh, that's not how you conduct a search type, like technicality stuff, flagrantly illegal shit, like walking up to a person who's yelling on the sidewalk and shoving them over for yelling when they're 20 feet away from the vehicle not involved. This is a widespread problem, but you're playing the game of showing me the 2 tally marks where there's 700 examples on the right and 2 examples on the left, and you go, see, they're the same. And I go, no. Also, we investigated the 2 on the left, and the people who were responsible got in trouble. It's a small enough amount of crime that the court systems are able to handle it. But there's a widespread civil rights violation issue that's happening that you're just ignoring. I'm going to invite you to unmute. Please respond. Please respond to what I actually said. Oh, did I accidentally mute you again right away?
Oh, I guess I had to click turn on.
No worries.
Oh, you're in the news, and obviously.
Wait, sorry, my internet, my sound interface crashed for just a moment, so just rewind 10 seconds. I've been trying to fix that. I don't know what's causing it. So just bring me back. Hello?
We're good now. Oh, we're good now? Okay.
Just repeat what you just said. Everybody else could hear you, but I couldn't hear you.
I was just saying that, obviously I'm not on the ground for those types of situations. I only see the shit that I see in the news. I don't live in an area where that is happening. And I didn't come up here saying, of course, that I agree with everything that this administration is doing. Well, I did vote for it, of course. I mean, if it's as terrible as you're saying it is compared to other administrations, then, I could be wrong. Maybe it is, maybe there are egregious amounts of it happening. I would disagree with that. Not that there's a happening. I'm not okay with the way law enforcement treats those situations. I don't think that's a new thing either, though. I think that's always existed. If you go up against those forces, they're going to retaliate with authoritarian power because they can. And that's always happened.
When have we done that ever in U.S. history, like modern history? In the last 40 years, 35, 40, 50 years even, when have we ever done that?
When have we had large groups of protesters following law enforcement officers around, antagonizing them, yelling at them?
The reason why that has never happened is because we didn't have ICE in the streets. That's his whole point. No other administration has to. I don't allow men to speak over me, so you're going to be quiet while I'm speaking. Oscar's nicer than I am. I'm just letting you know that you're wrong. There has never been a president that has deployed National Guard or ICE goons out into the streets, terrorizing the American people, civilians. This has never happened before because no other administration has blatantly done this. That is the glaring difference. It's because there's been protests over my whole life. I'm 53. My entire life, there's been protests, okay, for all different things, including the Women's March after Roe v. Wade was overturned. We've seen tons and tons of protests. None of this has ever happened because the government that was in charge at the time did not send armed people after them. That is the difference. And that's what you're failing to see. You keep wanting to both sides this, and there is no both sidesing an issue when you have this guy who is flagrantly violating free speech. He violated the Second Amendment in his first term. He's violated people's Fourth and Fifth Amendments. He's trying to violate the poll tax, which I think is the 22nd, with the SAVE Act. He's
also the 10th Amendment states' rights by threatening states that don't obey his poll taxes.
Correct.
So throw that
threatening
in there.
them. Also wanting to end birthright citizenship, which I believe is the 14th Amendment, by literally making an executive order saying that these people are not legal or they're not. He wants to take away their citizenship because their parents weren't born here. Like, all of that has been ruled on since the 1800s, that anyone born on U.S. soil is a U.S. citizen. He just doesn't care because he's a fucking racist. And so the reason why there has been no other comparisons that you can correlate is because there are none compared to what Trump is doing. Why don't you got to get out of your ego? You have to get out. It is so hard, especially for men, to just say, I was fucking wrong. I shouldn't have voted for this shit. And what's happening is wrong. It's just you're ego driven. You guys have been supporting him for 10 years. You guys have been doubling down, tripling down on your support for him against the libs and all this stuff. You just aren't intellectually honest with yourself that you know this is fucked up. Okay, you know this is wrong, and your comparison falls flat, and it'll continue to fall flat because no president in modern history has ever done a tenth of what this man has done.
I didn't vote for him the first time, just to clarify. I've not been supporting him.
I don't care. You voted for him after January 6th, after he tried to overturn a free and fair election the last time and stage a coup on his way out the door by putting in fake slates of electors. I know you guys think we just talk about January 6th and we talk about the violence at the Capitol and how they went in there, rubbed their shit on the walls, but that's not what we're talking about. It was the fake slates of electors where he had 7 different states put in and submit fake election ballots to give him the election in those 7 states over Biden. Those attorneys all went to jail. Those attorneys all got disbarred. He's the only one who didn't pay for that crime. He tried to overturn the will of the people and install himself as president after his first term, and you voted for him after that. Don't give me this, I didn't vote for him the first time. You voted for him the second time, which is worse.
The thing is, I want to give you time to respond, Scott, but I really just want to like go broad scope on this because me and Diava have not even, by the way, for everybody listening on YouTube, this is DiavaTalks, a co-host who hops on all the time. Everybody here on TikTok, go follow her. She's wonderful. She's way meaner than I am, if you're into that. But anyway, Scott, me and Diava have not even scratched the surface. There are so many illegal and unconstitutional things that Donald Trump has done over the course of his first term, his current term, and even some things he did in the middle. Not to mention the fact that it is the time in the middle that he was found guilty of 34 felonies and was adjudicated as a sexual abuser that many judges have ruled is something that actually allows us to call him a rapist, because the particular type of sexual abuse that he was found guilty for doing in a civil court is something that most people consider to be rape. Like, we could just keep yapping at you constantly about all this stuff, and the only thing that people have is like, oh, Obama like did some questionable airstrikes, which is really bad. Those are people's lives that were lost, or Biden.
And people protested.
Yeah, and people protested. We on the left were mad about it. Or you talk about the fact that Supreme Court shot down Biden's student loan things, and he listened. He didn't try to fight it. So again, there's this disproportionality issue where I'm not interested in hearing about the 1% of the time that the left is that bad. I'm interested in hearing about the 100% of the time that Trump is that bad. And I don't know how you can sit here and tell me that Kamala Harris wouldn't have been a better president. I want you to explain yourself.
Well, I think Kamala would have just kept doing what was already being done, the status quo. And
what was so bad about the status quo when Biden left office?
He got more legislation passed than any president since FDR. He had the most meaningful legislation in a very divided Congress. He was able to work across the aisle and get things passed. He was able to negotiate with Republicans, and they are flat out refusing to negotiate in any terms with Democrats this time around. He got more legislation passed than any president since FDR. Meaningful legislation, the PACT Act, the largest expansion of veteran benefits, the infrastructure package with roads, bridges, high-speed internet, new water pipes, all of that stuff, like actual stuff to help people.
All the oil drilling, drill baby drill, that was Biden. He opened up more permits for drilling.
And we drilled more than ever in human history under the Biden administration. In the U.S. history, we had drilled for more oil. So Trump's whole drill baby drill was just nonsense. It was noise. It was bumper sticker politics that people on the right could go around and repeat back, over and over and over again, like "Make America Great Again," "Drill baby drill," "Let's go Brandon," all the dumb little bumper sticker slogans. That's just ludicrous. It had nothing was based in any type of reality. And I get the problem, and the reason why us on the left are so frustrated is because you guys can see the same things that we're seeing, although probably not as much as we do, because your right-wing media does not tell you the whole truth of what's actually happening. But we know that this isn't right, but you're doubling down instead of just saying, yeah, this sucks, that he shouldn't be doing this.
Minor apology.
You can vote for him.
Minor apology. I called the guest Scott. That's not his name. That was a previous guest. Gooseman, answer to this. Like, talk for a minute.
Crazy enough, my real name is Scott. But I'm not against saying there's definitely things that are terrible that I don't agree with. There's terrible things that every president has done that I don't agree with.
What did Biden do that was terrible?
No, he's one I can't really name something as terrible because he didn't. But just a second ago. Wait. Stop.
Let me take the floor. No. Okay, Scott, please. You just said that you didn't want Kamala continuing the status quo, and I asked you what was so bad about the end of Biden's term, and then here you are, having faced a mountain of things that Trump did that are bad, and we're asking what did Biden do that was so bad, and you can't even come up with something. Like, this is insanity, dude.
I voted for Biden, man.
Yeah, but then why didn't you vote for Kamala is the question, and you just aren't giving us a good answer. Please do.
Because he's racist. I'm just going to call it now.
I'm not racist. I actually am. I don't know, whatever. You can get into that. Fine. Call me a racist. We're all racist. We're actually all racist. That's what I'll say.
And correct, unless you're doing the work to be anti-racist.
We all have racial bias.
We all have racial bias, especially if you were born in this country and especially if you are white. But people like myself, and I'm guessing like Oskar, we actually take time to try to become anti-racist because we know we have those internal biases and we don't deny that they exist.
I was extremely liberal as a youth. I was the most liberal person in the class when I took poli-sci in college. I voted liberal my entire life up till Trump.
Then why?
I am totally disillusioned with the left.
Why would you vote? He's going to bring in trans people in 3, 2, 1.
No, I'm not. I don't care about trans people.
Give us an answer. Why did you vote? Why didn't you vote for Kamala? That's the question. I haven't heard an answer.
My issue is that the left never actually accomplishes any of the things they say they want to accomplish.
We just listed Biden's accomplishments.
We literally just did.
No, but like real things.
He ran on all of that. Okay, listen. Is it because... Okay, let me just get... I think I got it. Gooseman, did you say she wasn't progressive enough, so she didn't do everything you wanted her to do?
No, that's not what I said.
Because
I don't agree with open borders, that kind of shit.
People want like a list, like a checklist.
They didn't have an open border policy. That's made up.
Yeah. Can you tell me what the border policy we're under right now?
I mean, I said that doesn't mean I think we had an open border policy, but I think...
Jesus Christ, you just said it.
You said you don't want the open border, and then we're trying to get you to explain why you didn't vote for Kamala Harris.
Liberals now are pro-open border policy.
We're talking about Kamala Harris, and we're not, and she wasn't. We're talking about her. Why didn't you vote for her? Are you thinking? Like seriously, dude. Like we explained all the things that Biden accomplished. Kamala Harris, as his vice president, passed more tie-breaking votes in the Senate than any vice president ever has. These are the people who get things done. These are the people who work across the aisle. These are the people who care about people like you having a good life. Trump doesn't care about you having a good life, and you're one of his constituents. He certainly doesn't care about me having a good life. Our Democratic candidates care about everybody having a good life, even if they didn't vote the way that we wanted them to. And we pass policies that actually accomplish those things. We've listed those policies. You can go look it up. It's obviously public information which laws were passed under Joe Biden, which things Kamala Harris voted on as vice president. This is all stuff that you can go check. We're just fire hosing you with reasons why you're wrong about this, and you've got nothing. Why the fuck did you vote for her, dude?
Why did we put up a candidate that no one ever voted for?
Because we had a unique situation that has never happened before in American history, which is that
Sleepy Joe, which I wanted to address.
It has happened. No, it has happened in the 60s. It happened another time when another president could have finished out their term and the vice president took over.
Well, no. What was unique is what was unique.
Why did you do that?
I'm going to answer. Let me. I have a little spiel I give on this because what is unique about this time is that she took over before the term started. Because obviously, if Biden had won the presidency and then he had backed down or passed away or whatever might have happened or 25th Amendment, then Kamala Harris would have become president. But it is a novel situation to say, okay, we elected Biden in the primary. He's the candidate. When we choose the person in the primary, we are saying that their backup is the person they choose as their running mate. And that was Kamala Harris. I had a caller who said that the primaries don't matter, so it doesn't matter that Bernie lost the primary in 2016. And I said, yeah, but if he'd won it, he would have become the presidential candidate. It would have been him instead of Hillary Clinton. The reason the primary mattered for Kamala is because if Biden hadn't won it, then Kamala wouldn't have been the candidate. But he did, so she was. The system worked. It was just an unusual situation that we had. And this doesn't answer any of the concerns we brought up about the situation, especially when our primary complaint against Donald Trump is that he's not following the rules. Something unique happened with Kamala, but she didn't break the rules. Trump is breaking the rules. You voted for the person who breaks the rules.
Well, she was on the ballot with Biden. It was a Biden-Harris ticket. We knew at his advanced age that there was a good chance he wouldn't make it all 4 years, okay? And so we wanted her to be the president if something happened to Biden. So when we cast our ballot for the primary, we voted for the Biden-Harris ticket. So for you to say that she wasn't voted in is just not true, because the primary picks who the candidate's going to be, right? And typically, and then they go to the RNC or the DNC. They both are the same. They don't have it yet until they get all the delegates. The delegates at the DNC, the delegates at the RNC give their votes to whichever candidate they want. She got over 4,000. She got more than Biden got his first time. She got almost all the delegates' votes. And so did Trump. So each of them became the nominee. Okay, it's the same thing. Anyone could have challenged Kamala Harris at the delegates.
I also just need to call bullshit because we got you really cornered on this. Like, why did you not vote for Kamala thing? And then you finally gave us a different answer, which is, oh, well, she was just selected undemocratically. I don't believe you. I don't think that you thought, oh man, Trump is such an unconstitutional monster. He's doing all these bad things. She has all these good policies about infrastructure. She's going to continue. I don't think that you thought all that and thought, shucks, though. We didn't primary her, and I'm just so principled about my primaries that I'm not going to vote for her for that reason. I call bullshit. I don't think that that's what you were thinking in November of 2024. I'm trying to understand what you were thinking in November of 2024, and I'm sitting here confused.
I guess part of me was thinking that the government had printed ridiculous amounts of money over the last 4 years.
And Trump printed more. Trump printed $4 trillion more than Biden.
We did some things in the wake of COVID that we knew at the time were going to be inflationary. The stimulus checks and the things that Trump did at the end of his first term and what Biden did at the beginning of his only term were things that we knew, okay, this is going to get us through COVID. And everybody, just so you know, in about 18 months, the inflation rate is going to tick up because we printed a lot of money, and that's what fucking happens when you print a lot of money. Just heads up, warning everybody, we're going to dive on this inflation grenade. And then as soon as the pandemic ended and free travel happened and the supply chains got under control, Biden got fastidiously to work fixing the problems that the economy was facing because of those benefits that we saw coming. So he had lots of time to plan. All right, how are we going to get that inflation under control? And he was doing it with all of the policies that me and Diava just listed. If you paid attention to politics and understood how it works, then you would know what this is exactly what was happening. But because you pay attention to a bunch of right side talking points, you somehow came to the conclusion that you shouldn't have voted for Kamala Harris and you should have voted for Donald Trump. And I am still sitting here wondering fucking why, dude.
And that was a cop out because Trump spent $4 trillion more than Joe Biden did.
Yeah, not to mention what he's going to do to the deficit under the big beautiful bill. Like, we could just list examples of why Trump is worse for even the reason you just brought up. But again, in light of all that, I can admit that maybe you thought that back then and you were wrong. Do you admit now that you were wrong, that you made a bad decision?
Yeah, it could have been not the greatest decision, and a big part of it was a fuck the left type of thing. Like you guys brought up Bernie, I was way pissed about Bernie.
You don't vote for a candidate. You don't vote for a candidate as a dig. You vote for a candidate to make better policies for people who live in the fucking country you're electing the president of. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but
that's what I said earlier. Just to own the libs.
Like I did
just to own the libs.
You did it. You did it to own the libs. Well, you succeeded because I had to wash fucking tear gas out of an old lady's eyes. That hurt her, and it really hurt my feelings. And we were both liberals, so you won. You got us. Congratulations.
I used to do dumb shit like that. I used to go do Occupy Wall Street, fucking. Except for we weren't getting tear gas.
But then, how do you go from believing in people having basic human rights to them having their rights stripped away? How do you do that in your brain? If you're a Democrat or a liberal your whole life, it is logically inconsistent that
me and that old lady didn't do anything illegal.
Well, and I don't agree with what happened to you.
Okay, then stop telling me that I was doing something dumb, because in this country, I don't stay home. I live free or die. And if that means that I die, then hang posters of me. I don't fucking care if you think it's stupid.
I didn't say you did anything dumb. I literally just said that I used to fucking do dumb shit like that when I was...
dumb shit like that implies that the thing we were talking about is dumb, you fucking idiot. You don't speak English.
Well, I didn't say you did a dumb thing. I called the thing that I was doing.
I brought up a thing that I did, and then you said when I was young, I did dumb things like that, which is calling what I was doing dumb.
There's an example of why I became disillusioned with the left, though, because... we do stuff like that and nothing ever comes of it. Where did Occupy Wall Street go? No, zero regulations were passed.
What happened there? Yeah, Occupy Wall Street was a failure. I lived in New York at the time and I participated in those demonstrations. I sat in that park with everybody. That was like my first big experience protesting as like a kid. I was like 14 or 15 or something like that. I recognize that these movements have a hard time gaining steam, but we're watching something gain steam in this country that we haven't seen anything like this in 50 years since the Civil Rights Movement. We had 200,000 people come to the state capitol in St. Paul. It was the biggest crowd I've ever been in, and I'm a musician who goes to music festivals. It was insane. And there's this interesting little statistic about how if you get 3 to 5% of a population to walk out onto the street and declare they're upset about something in any population, what happens next historically is almost certainly regime change, and we are getting there. People are upset about this. His approval rating is in the gutter. The number of people in this country who think that the checks and balances are working went from 2/3 of people thought that they were working to 1/3 of people think that they're working, and that happened inside of the 12 12 months that Donald Trump started his presidency with this second time. So like there is an avalanche of people who are switching sides and realizing that our democracy is in danger. And we're sitting here saying that you might be one of them because you said just a second ago that it might have been a mistake when you didn't vote for Kamala because of the mountain of evidence we've given you for why you should have voted for Kamala. But you started the call by saying that you would vote for Kamala again if the election was held today. And I'm just going to have to keep asking, do you still think if the election was re-held today for some mystical reason, would you still vote for Donald Trump and for what he's doing right now instead of Kamala Harris and what she was trying to do on Biden's behalf because he was too old?
I don't know, because I do think we needed to clean up immigration. While I don't agree with the way it's being done necessarily, I think it needed done, and I don't know why.
He's racist because immigrants are a net positive on this country, and they commit 60% less crime than U.S. born citizens. So this whole thing that immigrants are dangerous and they're harming this country is ludicrous, and it just means that you are racist. I am 53 years old. An undocumented immigrant or a regular documented immigrant has ever had a zero effect on my life. Not one goddamn thing has an immigrant ever done negative or positive, nothing to my life. They don't bother us. They want to come here. They want to work because the countries they're leaving are bad, or they're in economic turmoil, or they're in civil unrest, or whatever. They just want an opportunity to work. If you don't want them here, it's because you are racist. I'm sorry.
Me and Diava could sit here and school you about why you're wrong about the fact that they're just not that dangerous and they're not that bad for the economy. So if we want to fix the illegal immigration problem, because I'm not happy that there are as many illegal immigrants as there are, we could sit and argue policy on that. But the big thing, the cherry that needs to sit on top of this shit sundae that we've been assembling in front of you, is that defying people's constitutional liberties is not a good solution to any problem in a functioning democracy. You should realize that we're burning the house down with everybody else still inside of it, because we can't evacuate the country and redo it without illegal immigration. We just need to protect people's rights along the way. Why do you not see that illegal immigration isn't as big a problem as the president not following the Constitution?
I mean, I didn't compare them as problems, but
you said that the reason you voted for the unconstitutional president is because of immigration, and I'm saying that immigration isn't a big enough problem. There's no evidence that suggests it's a big enough problem to anybody. It's actually something that is kind of just a non-issue, because it is a bummer that these people are illegal. It's a problem on a paperwork sense. We have a system that's very broken.
You have to make pathway to citizenship easier, and it won't be so long.
We have a system that's broken, and that sucks. But the immigrants themselves, the immigrant population, are not a problem for anybody. They're not bad for the economy. They're not bad for the crime rate, anything like that. They're actually good for the crime rate. They drag it down because they're less criminal on average, if we accept the fact that they, asterisk on the fact that they're all criminals for being illegal immigrants. What I'm saying is that you voted for the unconstitutional president to fix a problem that isn't a big problem, and that's fucking insane.
I mean, there is in fact a housing crisis in this country.
It's not caused by immigration. It's a very negligible effect on housing.
Well, okay, they have a negligible effect on housing. They also disproportionately contribute to home manufacturing. It is there's a couple of sectors like agriculture and home building where illegal immigrants are disproportionately employed. So their presence here is actually good for the housing market. And if we just magically zooped them back to wherever they came from, the housing crisis would immediately become worse. The food problems, the supply chains would immediately become worse, because these are the people doing the low-level jobs that support those industries. So again, you're just wrong about that.
So make them citizens and give them real wages and make them pay taxes instead of depending on slave labor.
They do pay taxes.
They do pay taxes. That liberal argument that who's going to pick our vegetables, who's going to clean my house.
They do pay taxes.
They do pay taxes, and we on the left are also arguing for labor policies that protect those sorts of people. If we give them a pathway to citizenship, you're right. We do want them making higher wages. We do want better labor practices for them, and that drags in this whole other issue that corporate wealth is destroying America, because all of the companies that are refusing to pay these people a living wage have enough fucking money to do it, but the people who are at the top, who are powerful and have bought our politicians and contributed to this whole fucking conundrum we're in, where the government isn't following the rules, it's all tied together. Those wealthy billionaires that could pay those employees more aren't, and they are supporting Donald Trump. They are controlling the media and tricking people like yourself into voting for Trump instead of Kamala Harris, when everything we've shown in this call shows that you were flatly wrong about all of this. The opposite is true. You are falling for the trick of the billionaire. The billionaire is scapegoating the immigrant and telling you that all the things that the billionaires have done to the economy, it was the immigrants who did that, and you're fucking falling for it. Ask an economist, ask a historian, ask a sociologist, ask a social worker, ask a doctor, ask anybody who's a fucking professor at a a university, and the evidence is clear that everything I'm saying to you right now is correct, and you're for some fucking reason believing the bad guys themselves. You're believing the elected Republicans, and you're believing the billionaires. Why?
Your sign, you're 10 out of 10 on your sign today, by the way.
It's cooking. Why? Why do you believe the billionaires when they tell you that it was the illegal immigrants, when everybody else who understands it says, no, the billionaires created these bad economic conditions? Why?
He's running.
I think he's thinking. He's muted.
He's teacupped.
No. He got muted. He got muted. That was a tasty pause. But I think
he's also teacupped on my end. From my angle, he is teacupped.
What does teacupped mean? Is that a phrase I don't know?
It means he's off app.
Oh, he's researching.
He could be researching, but I think he's trying to leave because he didn't have an answer. There you go. I called it.
Oh yeah, he left. Okay. Yeah. I mean.
He didn't have an answer for that.
Just didn't have an answer for that. All right. I want to keep the show rolling. You want to talk to Kayla?
Sure. I think Kayla's a friendly.
We'll see. But I'll ask Kayla first, as I always do. How old is Kayla? Oh, nope, she's gone. Probably a friendly, didn't mean to be.
Yeah, she's a friendly.
That was an interesting, that one, I've been posting the show as like a 2-hour podcast. I might snip that one out because like it was a bit of a tag team. We were pretty aggressive on him, but like that was the most comprehensive case I think I've ever gotten to make in like one sitting, in one conversation with somebody.
Me too. I think that was pretty compelling. And he didn't have an answer, which is why he left.
Yeah.
He knows he was cooked. He knows he was cooked.
He moved the goalpost a few times where we're like, nope, you're wrong about that here. And we explained it so clearly that he paused and then said, well, no, it was because we printed so much money. And it's like, that's a new take. Let's destroy that one. And then we did that and then pause. Well, then this. And then we just got him to get through enough cycles of moving the goalpost to realize that he was fucking wrong. I'm going to declare the W. I think we convinced that guy that he shouldn't have voted for Trump.
Yes, and I wanted to just say one thing while we're waiting for someone else to request up. So if you voted for Trump, go ahead and hit that guest request. Everybody else be tapping the screen. We should be well over 50,000 likes, and we're close, but not anywhere near it. So I need everybody tapping the screen. Make sure you give the host a follow. He creates great content every day, and we want to help support our fellow left creators. So please make sure you're giving him a follow.
Yeah, shout out to everybody here because I have broken my viewership record for this show during the show, and also the follow count record for the show. So thanks everybody for supporting.
Awesome. But I did want to say that it is some of those real left-wing people, and that's why I said she wasn't progressive enough for you, was she? And he's like, no, that's not it. That's exactly what it was, because then he went right back to Bernie Sanders. And the problem is that when people are voting, you are not picking a life partner. They don't have to check off every fucking box, but they have to at least be going in the direction you're going in. And Kamala wasn't marching toward fascism like Trump is, and Trump was going to do. So what you have to do is you pick the party or the person that is going in the direction you at least want to go. They may not be as progressive as you are, but if you don't have a Democrat in the seat, progress will never happen. If you go take it back to a conservative, they want to conserve the past. So just because a Democrat candidate isn't as progressive as you want them to be, she wasn't as progressive as I would have liked her to be. However, she still got my vote because she's going in the direction that I want to go.
Yeah, I mean, the one like big criticism that people had against Kamala that I would actually give some credence to is that she supported Israel, but like I don't think that one's relevant anymore.
Not at all.
No,
and people forget that we have a non-NATO major alliance. They call it NNMA with Israel, where we have a contract with them as well to provide the funds that we provide them. Do I think that should be revisited? 100%, especially after this. However, no matter what president was in there, we have an agreement with Israel that's an NMA. That's just like the Budapest Memorandum, which is why we support Ukraine. When you have treaties and agreements signed, you have to honor them until they change. And so,
Trump doesn't honor agreements, though. He's a bad negotiator.
Well, he's the exception to every fucking rule.
Of course. And there's always going to be a reason why I did it. But we're going to ask John. How old are you, John? You're muted, John. Can you unmute yourself? John, you just joined, so I believe you're here. Even if you joined by mistake, you should be able to know that we're talking to him. John! Hello, John! John's been invited to get unmuted. Nope, I don't think John's here. I'm going to give him 4 more seconds. Just 30 seconds is plenty of time to get your mic unmuted. Nope, goodbye, John. If you're a Trump supporter in the chat, come talk to us. I think maybe we scared him away with how we handled that previous guy, because that was pretty comprehensive.
Do you want me to jump down so you maybe have a better chance?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I'll kick.
Or actually, you drop me for the algorithm.
Of course. All right. Yeah, I'll roll a little bit of a post roll. If you made it all the way through the show, if you're still listening here on TikTok, or if you're watching the VOD on YouTube, you can hit up the link tree in my bio. Follow me on the various things. That helps. And there's some non-free ways to help if you want to really help. Link tree in the bio makes a big difference to me being able to do this. But everybody get double tapping away over on TikTok. Let's get some new callers in here because we're having a very interesting day. The sign is upsetting people quite a lot. They are coming up and demonstrating that the sign is correct, which is very fun. So the sign is working. And we also haven't even actually talked as much as I thought we would about what happened last night. Thank you for the TikTok hat. Thank you for the cap, Uncle Steve. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Kim and Courtney. And who else is sending gifts? We got Tori. We got all the regular people. Sassy and Sydney. Yeah. Zaz. I can't even keep up with it. Yeah. Big show today. Big viewership. So I appreciate that. The chosen one in the chat. I don't see what you said. Oh yeah, wait, here we go. We got one. I'm not even going to read it out loud, the chosen one. I'm just going to invite you up to talk. I'm actually going to see if I can go find you in the guest request, or maybe Diava can work on that because I'm a little busy running the show. But yeah, dude, whatever you're talking about in the chat, you can come up and talk to us, talk in front of the whole class. I'd love to hear it. People in the chat really want you to come up and talk to me, so you should, please the live. Diava has sent the invitation, so you should see a little block on your screen asking you to join us, and you can come talk. But it is always interesting when I have this many viewers. We had 400 a second ago, but we're creeping down to 350 because we don't have a caller. But none of those people want to talk. The chosen one says I'm good on the gaslight box. Interesting. I don't. And we had a whole segment on the beginning about what gaslighting is. But Don Patron 068 has entered the box. We're going to start by asking Don Patron 068, how old are you? And thank you for the dancer, Holly.
I'm 34.
34?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yep.
Why?
He's making America great.
In what ways is he doing that?
Taking care of Israel.
How does that make America great? I thought. Do you believe in the America First policy?
Yep.
Then why are we helping Israel?
They're our friends. Aren't you supposed to help your allies?
Yeah, but I'd say that we're actually harming more allies than helping by being involved with Iran, because many of our allies are really mad at us about that, and that's a bigger deal than our relationship with Israel. If we're to be concerned about, making sure that America is safe and protected and has good allies, we've really fucked up our relationship with NATO.
Are they true allies if they don't want to help us?
Well, so I'll give you an example of some of our important allies, which are the members of NATO, who would be actually forced by the agreement that they joined to help us if Iran attacked us. But that isn't what happened. We attacked Iran, and because we started it, now they don't have to help us. So we actually had a bunch of allies that were bound by their agreement to help us. Otherwise, they'd violate NATO, which countries don't want to do, because then it means that they don't also have their mutual protection, which is really important in Europe. So yeah, he's fucking it up real bad. What's your point?
Well, they're not true allies at the beginning, because it don't matter. Like, if you my friend and we get into a tussle with somebody else and you choose not to help, then after that I'm finna be like, nah, you're not my friend no more.
Well, we actually bound them.
You scary.
We became blood brothers about it, and bound them to this agreement where we have to help each other if we get into trouble. But we did the thing that would be what you were just describing. We were the bad friend. We were the bad ally, and we fucking broke the rules and started a conflict in the Middle East. So they're not allowed. They're not forced to help us with that one.
But that doesn't matter.
Why? It matters greatly. Lots of people have died.
Regardless if right or wrong, if they're our allies, they need to help us.
No, they're still sovereign nations.
You're not an ally.
Right. But if we limit ourselves to countries that are only going to help us just because, we're going to be very lonely on the world stage. So we come up with these agreements because these are other countries that have their own interests at heart. We can't expect member nations of NATO to think America first. They're still going to think about themselves first because they're different countries than us. So we get into these agreements that make sure that they can help us when we're in trouble. And Trump is fucking that up. He's putting the country in danger by making it so that our allies don't have to come to our aid. That's bad.
Well, we don't need them.
Well,
they need us. We don't need them.
Well, then why did Trump ask them for help with the Strait of Hormuz?
They benefit more than we do from that.
I'll ask the question again. Why did Donald Trump ask them for help with the Strait of Hormuz if we don't need them?
Okay, if you just talked about their own self-interest,
yeah,
opening up the strait helps them out more than it helps us.
Question again, and I'm not going to move on until you answer.
Be involved in
I'm not going to answer your different questions. No, you have.
About to answer
no, I'm not going to hold on.
Know.
I'm going to talk over you unless you answer my question instead of asking me your next question. We can talk about your question next. The question again is, if we didn't.
I'm not asking you a question. I'm answering your question.
Okay, please try again. I'm going to ask it again for the audience. The question that I'm trying to get the guest to answer is, because the guest just said that we don't need their help, and I said if we don't need their help, then why did Donald Trump ask NATO for help with the Strait of Hormuz?
I was giving you the answer and you was over talking.
Okay, sorry. Try again.
Okay, so again, you talked about their own self-interest. They benefit from the strait more than we do. So that's number one, why they should help. Number two, they're our allies. So they should help just off that, even if they didn't benefit.
The question isn't should they help. The question is, you said that we don't need their help, and then I'm asking, if that's the case, then why did Trump ask for their help?
Because they're involved in it too. They should help.
No, they're not. I mean, it's fucking up their oil prices. But thanks for.
I don't see what you don't understand about this. If they benefit from the strait being open, why shouldn't they help?
Because then they'll be in a military conflict.
Why should we just use all of our resources?
The reason they shouldn't help is because then they will be in a military conflict with Iran, and not being in a military conflict with Iran is still preferable to being in a military conflict with Iran, even if it creates a chance of the strait being opened, which it doesn't really, because they're like laying mines and stuff. It's for them, being not involved is the lesser of two evils here. Makes sense that they don't want to get involved. It's very messy over there. People are dying.
Right. So it makes more sense for America to do all the heavy lifting for them.
Well,
that doesn't sound like an ally.
It is a problem that we created because the strait was open until we bombed Iran and started the war. So Trump did a bad thing. It created global consequences for everybody. And the other people, the other countries that are facing those consequences are saying, wow, those consequences are really bad, but it would still make it worse if we joined your war in Iran. So we are going to stay the fuck out of that shit. That makes sense.
You know what? I think every country that told us no, they need to get out of NATO.
That's not how NATO works. I don't think you understand the NATO agreement.
I didn't say that that's how it worked. I said what I think is every country that chose to not help needs to get out of NATO.
Why?
We need to kick them out.
Why?
Because they're not a true ally.
But NATO doesn't say that you have. But the NATO agreement doesn't say that you have to do whatever dumb shit Donald Trump asks you to do. It has very specific mutual defense agreements and different articles about the exact rules that they created. You're just making up a different way that you wish it worked, but that, as a matter of fact, is not how it works. And because that's not how it works, what Donald Trump did was very, very stupid.
It wasn't stupid.
It was very stupid. Gas prices.
You just mentioned all the people. You mentioned all the. Okay, yeah, you care more about gas prices than the leaders unaliving their own people.
I did talk about a lot of the death that's happening over there, and I mentioned that before I mentioned gas prices. But the rest of the world recognizes the lesson that we have failed to learn, which is that getting involved with every nasty country that's up to no good doesn't go well. It just creates forever wars. It doesn't help that country get better. It doesn't make the people in that country safer. It doesn't cause less death to happen in that country. Should we invade North Korea? They're being very bad to their people. That's the question. I do want you to answer that question.
Is North Korea unaliving as many people that Iran has, their own citizens?
Well, not all in January of this year, but yes, they send people to death camps. It's terrible in North Korea. Absolute dictatorship. It's illegal to speak badly about the supreme leader. And they'll disappear your family if you try to escape the country, so people are afraid to leave. There's famine there, and because they're disconnected from the global community economically in terms of shipping, they have to sneak in boats of food from China because China's breaking the rules and doing business. It's very, very bad over there. So all these things you can say about Iran being a terrible dictatorship, you can say that about North Korea. So then I ask you again, should we invade North Korea and fix that? Is that our job?
You just made a false equivalence because there's no way that they're unaliving 36,000 people like the Ayatollah was doing.
Yeah, they are. It's really bad in North Korea.
No, they're not.
Not all in 1 month in January of this year.
You can't just say that they are.
Do you doubt the civil rights abuses and death that is happening in North Korea and has been for decades?
I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying it's not at the same level as Iran is. And if it was at the same level, then yeah, we should invade.
It is. I'm telling you, it is. I don't think you know anything about North Korea. You're just claiming you're right for no reason at all, just because you think you're right. It's terrible in North Korea. They literally have death camps. They literally have forced labor camps that you get sent to for the rest of your life if somebody in your family does something bad.
So you agree we should invade them?
No, I'm saying we shouldn't have invaded either. I'm saying that because North Korea is as bad as Iran, it sounds like you think that we should invade North Korea.
Yeah, we should invade North Korea.
Should we invade every warring country in Africa where they're having a bunch of deaths because of civil squabbles? There's a bunch of civil war happening in Africa.
Yeah, America first. We should be involved in every conflict where the government is unaliving its own people.
So China has genocided the Uyghur population in the western half of China. That's real bad. Should we invade China?
Yep.
We should invade China. You really want to start World War III? Just to instead of admitting that you're wrong in this debate, you want to start World War III.
I'm being logically consistent.
Yeah, you are actually being logically consistent. I'll give you that. But if we're going to use your logic, if we're going to take your logic to its end, there's a list of 20 or 30 countries that we need to invade immediately because they're up to as much no good as Iran.
It's better for the people. Why are you okay with the government unaliving their own people?
I'm not. I never said I was. I said it's really bad. What I said is that going to war with those countries makes it worse for those people. That's what we've learned in history.
Okay, so what else should we do about it?
I don't know if there's much we can do, unfortunately. But again, you say America first.
Oh, so we should do nothing about it.
I'm not saying that.
So you don't care.
I'm not saying just because I think that a solution isn't a good solution and I don't know how to handle a problem doesn't mean that I think it's okay.
Okay, well then what would be your? You don't have a solution. You don't have any other solution.
What I'm saying is that doing nothing was literally better than doing something in this case. So yeah, that would have still been better. It's not good what's going on in Iran. We're not going to fix the world.
I don't think doing nothing is better. I don't think doing nothing is better.
I'm saying that doing something, which in this case was starting the war with Iran, was worse because we've damaged our relationship with our allies and we've caused unnecessary death. U.S. servicemen have died. Global gas prices are through the roof. Global economic stability is damaged by this. There's lots of ways in which this is really, really, really bad, especially for people who live here. Because of course, if you're going to talk about America first, you're talking about again, you're flip-flopping on whether your policy is America first. Because if it's America first, we obviously shouldn't have been involved because it's bad for American people that we're in this war. But then every time we go to that, you say, oh, but the Iranian people, I care so much about the Iranian people. I don't think you fucking do, dude. I don't think you care. Because I'm telling you that there's good evidence for the fact that what we did is bad for the Iranian people, and you're not interested in hearing it.
All right. So if Trump actually lost his mind and sent the military to unalive Americans, wouldn't you want some other country to step in?
Don, I think I would love for somebody to come to a regime change in the United States because they're committing tons of crimes here and they're unaliving U.S. protesters. Renee Good and Alex Preddy would like to have a word with you, but they're unavailable for comment. So if you could just tell me, what is the JCPOA?
The agreement that we have with Iran.
Can't believe
it. Yeah, and it was working.
I didn't get to finish my point. It wasn't working.
No.
They wasn't following the rules.
I wasn't done. I wasn't done. I don't allow men to speak over me, so I'm nice. I'm not nice as Oscar. Just so you know, the JCPOA
so
was
you need
working.
help. You need help.
The JCPOA was working. They had no violations. Donald Trump is the one who pulled us out of the JCPOA, which caused the Iranian government to start, and they run away. They caused the Iranian government to start possibly enriching uranium again. This is completely self-inflicted by Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, I didn't even want to go on the JCPOA path because he was talking about the civil rights abuses, which the JCPOA didn't address.
Well, the reason I asked, I want to know if you knew what it was. Most of them don't even know what it is, and they're arguing something they don't even know what it was. So that's why I'm asked.
I was surprised that he knew what it was, but yeah, again, it's just he's just declaring that what Trump did is good and offering no evidence whatsoever that it's right, ignoring every piece of evidence we offer that it wasn't. And he also just
they're ignoring the fact that NATO is a defense alliance.
Yeah.
It is not for offense. So just because they're not coming to our aid, that's like England. That's like the UK bombing Ireland.
Yeah, we wouldn't get involved in that shit.
We're not going to get involved in that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's not a defense. We're not defending UK. They were the aggressor. So this whole thing about NATO is ridiculous.
And I asked him directly. I was like, "Why would they do that? Why would they help us? They have their own interests." And he's like, "Well, because we're America, they should." And it's just like, dude, like what a closed-minded. Like
It's the American exceptionalism.
Yeah, like no, he's playing a board game of Risk like a toddler. He's just being a child.
Correct. And also, Israel never sent.
Closed-minded approach to the situation. It's like, oh, you know what, buddy? We actually thought of that and it doesn't work. Sorry. Like, we'll put your note on the fridge and say, good try on your global diplomacy and all that, foreign affairs. But no, causes death and destruction when we do that. We've learned the lesson before.
He's talking about our allies not sending troops over to help, but Israel didn't send any either. Israel said no. Israel declined to send any of their troops over. So it's only our American soldiers that are going there and unaliving. Israel isn't even sending their own. And it was Bibi that talked Donald Trump into doing this attack.
Johnny the Fox, how old are you?
I'm 63.
You a Trump supporter?
I support my president.
Why? He's a criminal.
Because that's the way it works. It's a two-party system for the people.
We actually have parts of the Constitution. So do you wait, no, I'm just going to cut you off right away. Do you think that the 25th Amendment supports the president? Do you think that we wrote that amendment to make sure that we always support the president no matter what? Do you know what the 25th Amendment is? Do I need to explain it to you?
I'm sure you do.
You know what? Y'all are very arrogant, number one.
Correct.
Because we're educated. Because we're educated.
That's your problem. This world has the worst education system there is.
And you're proof of it.
So I'll ask again. Do you know what the 25th Amendment is? I'm happy to remind you.
I was raised in Asia. That's where I was, in Polynesia, Japan, Hawaii, the Philippines.
The topic is the 25th Amendment. Do you know what the 25th Amendment is?
No, the topic is, why are you putting down the country you live in?
Okay, it's my live, and I get to declare what the topic is. And right now, I'm having a conversation with you about the 25th Amendment. The 25th Amendment is the one that says that the president's cabinet can remove him from office if he's unfit to serve. So you said that we always have to support our president. He's our president. We should support this president no matter what. I'm saying, do you think that the authors of the 25th Amendment were un-American because they literally wrote rules into our Constitution that would only be used in a situation where we really don't support the president?
Okay, let's go with the 25th Amendment. Why didn't we pull it on Biden? Why didn't we pull it on Obama? Why didn't we pull it on Bush? Why didn't we pull it on Clinton?
I'm going to answer. Okay, I'm going to answer. If we had pulled the 25th Amendment on Biden during his term, I personally would have been okay with it. He was getting a little too old. I don't know how you think you can say that any other president was that incompetent of the ones that you listed. You're just bringing up the other presidents.
Obama is the most treasonous president we've had.
False.
Bush made up a lot.
I'm actually going to bring us back because you sidestepped the question. I didn't bring up any particular president. I wasn't talking about Trump. I'm just saying that we do have an amendment. We do have an amendment on the books.
This is your program,
we do only,
and you're arrogant,
you gotta listen.
And you don't debate.
Hello. So you have to listen to me. That's correct, because I'm going to keep us on track. I didn't talk about Trump. I just said that we have an amendment on the books that's specifically designed for a situation where we shouldn't support the president because they're incompetent. So that's my counter argument to you saying that you always support the president. So do you think that the 25th Amendment should be removed, or should we amend the Constitution again to cancel it out? Do you think the 25th Amendment's bad?
I think we got a man who doesn't have to take this job, who takes this job and fights for our country.
All of them don't have to take it. All of them. No. Every single president doesn't have to take the presidency.
You shut up.
No.
You just shut.
Nope. Sorry, your misogyny doesn't work on me. No. The answer is no.
So I'll ask again. Do you think that the 25th Amendment should or should not be in the Constitution? That's the question, Johnny. That's the question.
I invited you to unmute. Go ahead.
Oh, I think I might have muted him again by accident. Uh-oh. Do we leave him muted for a minute? I'm afraid to hit it again. I don't want to...
I just invited him, so don't do it again yet.
Johnny, you got to hit the unmute button. There's an unmute button.
There's literally an invitation in the middle of your screen that says accept or not, or cancel.
Yeah. Are you there, Johnny? You got to hit the button on your screen to be able to talk. I'm going to kick you in about 10 seconds, and we're going to move on because the queue is very full.
Nobody has to accept the presidency, my guy. He ran to avoid prison.
Yeah. All right, Johnny the Fox. It does seem. I do believe that you're probably just having tech issues. So you are welcome to come back up if you want to keep talking. I'm not kicking you off the show. I am just going to boot you and move on to the next person so we can keep the show rolling along. Maybe Damien will want to talk about it. Damien is going to first talk about his age. He's going to tell us how old he is. How old are you, Damien?
Oh, I'm 55.
Okay. Trump supporter?
I'm not. I'm sorry. I didn't even mean to, but I just wanted to say the
10
the
seconds.
only time.
10 seconds. You get 10 seconds. Go.
Okay. Article 5. The only time it was called was after 9/11 when all the NATO nations came to our aid and soldiers died for us. That's it. Thank you.
Correct. Yeah. We have made good use of NATO. They are our friends. They have come to our aid. And yeah, we fucked that up when we get involved in these conflicts. Oh, what if Iran had attacked us? Well, if Iran had attacked us before we attacked them, then NATO would have helped us. And that's huge because that's like most of the world's military might other than Russia and China. But nope, we don't get that with Iran anymore because we fucking started it. Pam Security Guy. We're going to talk to Pam Security Guy. And everybody knows what I'm about to say. Pam Security Guy, how old are you?
Hello, 43. Voted out of the state of Georgia. Voted for Harris.
Ooh, okay. I'll give you 10 seconds of the floor, but it's really bad for my live stream. So please say your piece and get out of here.
Got you. Why would we trust a president who's a P3DO and a serial rapist and a 34 count felon? That's all I got to say. I land my plane. Thank you.
I love it when people actually get the 10 seconds because I say the 10 seconds all the time and then people will just start monologuing, and I hate kicking a friendly in the middle of a monologue, but I have to do it all the time, and it's like, when I started listening to these debate lives, I would hear Gene Withers do it, and I'd think, oh, how rude. Now I run them, and I get it. Like, literally, I have 400 people in here, and if I'd let that guy keep talking, it'd be 300 after 30 seconds. It just tanks, and we don't even currently...
Friendlies, we love you. We love you. We're so happy you're here. Make sure you're following the host. Make sure you're tapping the screen, and you're giving your support. But please respect the boundaries of the host. He does only take Trump supporters for the first 2 hours, and then he has friendly time after that. So just hang tight, and then you can come up and say whatever you want.
Yeah, and that's actually approaching pretty soon. So maybe I should have just let him up because that is in 6 minutes and it's kind of a soft end. But the stream is going well today, so I'd love to get another MAGA call in. If somebody wants to come and try to make some kind of defensible claim for Trump, that'd be very interesting to me. But that hasn't really happened today. Ooh, thank you for the crown. Lots of new gifts today. I haven't been doing this long enough to see all the different types of gifts that show up. So I'm starting to get educated on that. And today's been great on gifts. So thanks everybody for that. I guess I'll take a moment to just give the super quick commercial and say that there's a link tree in my bio where you can go click on the things and follow me on the other platforms. And there's some things you can click on there and send me money if that's what you want to do. And that means I get to do this more. And this is going really well for me. So I'm very, very excited about potentially just being able to do it more. Noodle is such a precious name, says Judo Monkey in the chat. Noodle is a precious name for a precious dog. Noodle, come here. Come here. Hop up. Hop up. Come on. There's Noodle. Got my Noodle. All right. Noodle makes me feel better when there's fascism.
Aw, he's not a brown shirt. He just has a brown fur.
Noodle is a girl. She's a very silly girl.
Sorry.
Yeah. You misgendered my dog, Diava. We're going to get canceled. Don't watch it.
Oh, no.
Watch it with that. Noodle, man, if she could comprehend fascism, she'd be so mad. She's all about friendship and love. That's her whole deal. I think I will open it up to friendlies because we got 5 minutes left and I don't think we are going to get another MAGA. Even though there's 400 people in here, not one of them wants to come.
They're still in here. They're still in here.
They're afraid of me. They don't. This not muting thing is working. Like I really think that like there are MAGA debate guys who like have made a career of just getting the host to mute them and then declaring the W. And I'm just like I won't. I know you do it, Diava, and I don't judge you for it. It's just a different style of debate. But like I think I'm doing.
I do it because I get all the misogynistic men who want to come in and just roll all over me and steamroll me. So I have to take control, or they'll just keep running all over me.
If I was female, I might need to use the mute button. I can respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I just brought Pete up. Pete, how old are you?
I'm 55.
Friend or foe?
I'm a friend. This is friendly time, right?
Yes. You're welcome up to friendly time.
I just want to make a quick point that it seems I just discovered your live today too. It's great so far. But I just wanted to make the point that MAGA seems to put America first and then say we should that they get angry because Iranians are killing Iranians. And their solution is that America should go.
These are people who aren't even mad that black Americans are killing black Americans. Never mind the fucking Iranians. Like, it's all horseshit. It's
but
all...
their solution is to go to bed, and we should go do it. So it just doesn't make any sense. So I want to say, enjoy your life so far.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just discovered it.
Appreciate you, Pete. I think that it's insane. There's also just a bad argument when it comes to saying, like, okay, so the Iranians are killing each other, so the solution is to go kill more Iranians? Is that going to work?
Right. That's what seemed like the last 2 or 3 mega people had said. So, and it hasn't worked ever. It didn't work in Iraq, and it hasn't worked for the Soviet Union earlier in Afghanistan. It didn't work for us in Afghanistan. It just doesn't work.
Well, there's also a very specific rebuttal about us like going in there to fix it, because the problem I have with people celebrating that we killed Khamenei is that he was 86. So I could have performed like a really sick magic trick where I killed him just by doing nothing at all. Like, watch this.
Waiting a little bit.
Watch this, guy, everybody. I'm going to sit here in my apartment and do live streams, and eventually the leader of Iran will be unalived by magic. No, it's because he was 86. He's 86 years old. So and there was a chance that if he died, because his son wasn't necessarily the person who was supposed to replace him, that hadn't been decided yet. There is a chance that if he had died of natural causes and Iran wasn't facing as much strife as they're facing right now, they would have come together and picked a more progressive leader and sent Iran down a better path, probably not a path we'd call a good one right away, but definitely a better one than the one they're on. But instead of that possibility happening, they immediately replaced him with his son, who is just as reprehensible a dictator, is somebody whose father was just killed by the United States. That's going to piss him off, and is now younger. So instead, we basically like made Khamenei younger instead of just letting him die. So the whole approach to just, going to war with them to solve this dictatorial problem they're facing is insane. And even to start thinking about it that way, we have to get past the fact that this is the party of America First, who is supposed to be worried about American interests, and somehow we're worried about Iranian interests. We humanists. It's terrible what's happening in Iran. It's going to stay terrible there for a long time, and that's bad.
Just made it worse.
Made it worse.
Great point. Yeah, great point. Yeah, and the Straits would have been open if we wouldn't have tried to get in there and mess with Iran.
They were open and free.
I have people call in and brag about how Trump is going to open the Strait, and I'm like, yo, it was open. He fucking closed it by starting the war with Iran. Like, we knew. Any military strategist would have told you Iran does not have a big enough military to like fight the United States might, so they're going to hit us where it hurts. And the way that they did that is by closing the fucking Strait of Hormuz. Like,
right. They didn't have to have a nuke. They have their strait. They could cripple the world's economy. They could cripple everything with just closing the Strait of Hormuz, because 20% of the world's oil production flows through there. And so they didn't even need to do a nuke or do anything to harm the United States or cause a strife. All they had to do was close the strait.
Yeah, and it just comes back to the fact that this is such a simplistic view of global geopolitics. If you want to say, like, Iran bad, let's go to war with them. And it's like, yo, there's 200 countries, a bunch of them are evil. We're playing this game of 40 chess of, like, trying to not have a bunch of us die in a war with them. It's not simple. It's not just Iran bad, let's bomb them. And that's all they say on Fox News. It's you have to just start by admitting this is at least a complicated problem.
I'm a recovering conservative, and I used to be all in favor of the Iraq war and thought it was so great that we're going to go have free Iraq, and Iraq is going to have McDonald's in every other corner. And then we saw what really happened. That slowly started turning me. And then once Trump got nominated in 2016, it kicked any vestiges of conservatism out of me. So.
Yeah. I mean, I commend you for being able to learn a lesson, right? Yeah, there's W. Pete's already showing up in the chat, because that's the big thing, and it's something I talk a lot about on this show, is that I recognize that it's hard to admit you've been wrong for like a decade, which a lot of Trump supporters have to do. If you voted for the guy it's longer than that now. If you voted for the guy 3 times, it has to be heartbreaking to realize that was a fucking mistake. But a lot of more and more people are realizing that every single day. And I guess it's something worth talking about during Friendly Hour. But I post these clips on Instagram, which are these really like, I'm just going to mute you, Pete, because you're noisy, but you're still on. Or maybe
his dog's feet.
I get a lot of the clips from this show do really well on Instagram, but the clips that do really well aren't the like meaningful, heartbreaking moments or like, these interesting conversations I have with people. It's, it's me trashing on people. It's me getting the W. It's like, the really like blood sport competitive type of debating stuff does really well in like a 30-second video that people are supposed to like and follow me on Instagram for watching. So I get a lot of accusations on there about not like doing anything productive. And I always just respond and say, it's a 2-hour show and lots of productive stuff happens on it. and the productive stuff doesn't really make the cut for these shorts that are effectively advertising what we're doing. But we convince people all the fucking time. I'm kind of impressed by how frequently it happens. Diava, I think you were on when we had Ryan on the other day, who started pretty extreme. He was kind of an accelerationist and said that he wanted Trump to destroy the economy so that we could rebuild it from the ground up. And he kind of ended in a place of like, basically everything I said, he was like, that sounds reasonable. And I'm like, yeah, that's what Kamala Harris wanted. And then by the end, he was like saying that he was going to go do more research. We had like a conversation with that guy about how he was like disgusted by trans people and homosexuals. And we had a trans caller come up and talk to him. And it was like a moment of him opening his eyes and like getting to understand some of this stuff and understand a little bit about himself and about his own like hateful beliefs that were planted in him as a child. Like we have these incredible calls, but they don't make a good Instagram short. So a lot of people show up here having not actually watched the show.
Changing minds and changing hearts is more important.
Yeah, well, I guess the thing is people show up in the chat and they say that we never do that we're just like a bunch of assholes who get dunk on people, which sometimes we have to be entertaining in running the live or else it doesn't succeed. So there's an element of that we do. But yeah, I just got to defend what I'm doing. I do think it makes a difference, and I feel good about it when I have a call like that.
You seem more. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just say you seem more patient than most of the live streamers I've seen on the left, because
it's my superpower.
More patient than I would be. I would end up. I don't know how I would.
I am much more aggressive than Oskar. Oskar is nearly comatose compared to how I do my lives. And I'm not saying that as a dig, Oskar.
No,
I wish I could be as patient as you are. I really wish I could. But I'm so passionate. And I don't know if it's just because I'm neurodivergent. I have ADHD and stuff like that. And so I have a very deep ingrained sense of justice. And it comes out in aggressive ways when people are just so inhumane and grotesque, and the things that they say.
So I also have ADHD.
It enrages me.
I also have ADHD, but you know how like with ADHD, there's like a dozen or so like really, really big like symptoms that most people who have it have that are really crippling for them, but everybody's got a couple that they don't have, and there's like 2 ADHD things that I don't seem to have that have made it so that my ADHD seems to work in a slightly different way than a lot of other people's. One of them is that I'm not time blind. I'm always on time to everything. I'm like hyper careful about what time it is. I have a super good internal clock and I don't lose track of time, which is very unusual for a person with ADHD.
That is very unusual, yeah.
And then the other thing is I don't have the like ADHD like rage, like which is like a real physiological thing about like temper, but so it causes people with ADHD to sometimes be ill-tempered, which sometimes it's warranted to lose your temper, especially when we're talking about the president being a fucking rapist.
I think when you add that with empathy, because I feel everything deeply. Like I feel anger deeply. I feel happiness deeply. I feel sadness deeply. So I think that comes with being an empath as well. Is it any type of injustice just enrages that part of me, and it may be something I could work on, but it actually works for me and works for my lives. And I love that you're so different, because it's like you're the good cop and I'm the bad cop, and I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why I love bringing you up like half hour or an hour before the like proper debate part of the show ends, because I'm like, let's spice things up for a little bit for everybody. let's bring the chaos to the debate live. But it's good. I mean, everybody has their different strategies. I just it like manifests in my real life, because especially as like a creative, like a musician who sings in bars and stuff, I interact with a lot of people who have ADHD, and it is one of those things that when I see somebody get like, frustrated with a zipper or something, and you get that little like I'm mad at the zipper. Like I just don't have that. Like I just never, like this comatose thing. Like when bad things happen or like things that I can tell are upsetting, I just kind of sit there and I'm like, all right, this is very upsetting. I'll wait for them to finish, and then I'll pick out the most important part of what they said and focus on it, or bring them back to what we're supposed to be talking about, whatever it is. It's just I'm sitting here engineering what the next part of the conversation is going to be. When I'm sitting here stone-faced while somebody's being completely insane, that's what I'm doing. I'm planning. I'm sitting there figuring out what I'm going to say.
Have you ever watched Isaiah Martin?
Maybe. I don't recognize the name.
He's a Gen Z. He's a young man out of Texas. He ran for a Texas House seat or a Senate seat or something. He didn't win his election, but he's on TikTok too. But his name is Isaiah Martin, and he is expertly controlled, like you are. Like he's so good at talking and patient with MAGA. And I asked him, I'm like, "What is your secret sauce? Like, what can I get from you that might help me stay calmer?" And he said, I just look at them and I envisioning having this conversation with a 3 or 4 year old toddler. And that's why I don't get upset, because would you sit and scream and yell at a toddler, or would you just look at them and say, poor thing?
Well, that's what I've always, it's what I said about, it's what I said to my ex when we were trying to raise this dog from a puppy, is I always said, you have to be more patient than the dog or you can't train it. And Noodle tests my patience because she's a super hyperactive, zany velociraptor of a thing. And you know, Diava, that I have tons of experience in childcare, and it literally is the same part of my brain activates when you have a
That's probably true. Yep.
A 3-year-old that's throwing a temper tantrum, and I'm like, hey, I really want to go to the park with you today, but we do need to wash your hands and we do need to change clothes before we go to the park. So it's okay that you're upset. You can be upset, but when you're done crying, can we maybe go over to the sink and then we can talk about, you know, like that thing that I have like built in as a tool in the toolbox as a early childhood early childhood care professional. It's the same thing that comes out in these debate lives where I'm like, all right, I can see that you're upset. I'm actually going to try to talk to you in a way that calms you down until we get to the end of the conversation, and then I might start talking to you in a way that works you up. But
do you want to have kids one day?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I got a vasectomy. None of that for me.
Okay, I was gonna say you would be a fantastic father. But.
Oh, you see, I think I recognize about the ADHD thing that I'm too all over the place in terms of what I want for my life. I recognized in my mid-20s that I was either going to be the type of if I became a father, I would either resent my kids for all the sorts of cool stuff I didn't get up to because I'd have to, I'd be so motivated to do a good job and be a good father to them. Or if I failed at that, I'd resent myself for not being a good father, not being there more for my kids. So I just am very thankful that my work has made it so that I've touched the lives of a lot of children in a positive way, and that gives me that fulfillment, and I sit here with that expertise because of it, and it's been a huge part of my life, and I care about that. But the fact that I get to go home and just, kick my feet up and go for a run with my dog.
I can't even imagine what that's like. I'm jealous.
Yeah,
but
play my music.
I love when people figure that out young. I have 4 kids. I have 2 adult kids. And then I had oopsie poopsie surprises 20 years later. So now I have 12-year-old twins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my kids are 32, 29, and 12. So,
yeah. So that's a life of mothering, it's
been a life of mothering, and I don't know what it's like to be selfish. I don't know what it's like to have anyone do for me. So I'm looking forward to the next phase of my life, to be completely honest. I'd like to just not be responsible for any humans for a little while. So I'm really grateful that those days are over for me. But, I do commend people that figure out early on that they're just not equipped for kids for whatever reason it is, but then do something about it.
I just saw enough adults. I saw enough adults, obviously working with as many kids as I have. I've seen so many parents, and I see how that affects their lives. And obviously, people are fulfilled by their children. That's great. Mm-hmm. But I also, as a creative who's always out in the creative space, running around and getting up to cool projects and doing stuff, that I enjoy is something that's really hard when you have kids in your life. I'm already successful enough at TikTok live streaming that I have people being like, "What are you going to even do after Trump dies?" And I'm like, well, maybe I'll stay a political commentator. That's a possibility. But who knows, man? Life is long. I'll get up to something else really fun and cool. Doesn't matter because I'm only responsible for myself and my pets. It's sick. So that's just the path I chose. But I want to talk to Joshua L. Is in the call. I'm going to invite him to unmute. I don't know.
Yeah, no worries. I'll go ahead and mute up for a moment.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a friendly or not. But how old are you, Joshua L?
32.
32. Friend or foe?
I'm a Trump voter.
Okay. Foe in terms of what I meant, but I appreciate that you didn't want to call yourself a foe. Suggests to me that the conversation is going to be somewhat good faith. Why do you support?
Look at your comments.
Ooh, yeah. Josh is problematic, according to a very trusted moderator.
Not this guy. Yeah, would you look at that? All right. I'm coming up here to say that your rhetoric is essentially what... Well, not your rhetoric, because you're not really that special enough, but rhetoric like yours is exactly why we're having assassination attempts.
No, I think
to the president. How do you feel about that?
It's his rhetoric.
It's his rhetoric. Yeah, absolutely. It's
his rhetoric. That's interesting.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, blame the victim. Blame the victim. Victim blaming.
Well, I would argue that he's
and then people say stage. Yeah, look at that.
He's disobeying the Constitution, man.
He's disobeying the Constitution. Oh my God.
People try to assassinate leaders that disobey the Constitution of the country they live in.
Actually, I think every single assassination attempt from presidents have been really good presidents. Name a president that's had an assassination attempt that wasn't a good president.
Yeah.
Not in this particular case.
Well, I also...
Yeah, no, that's of course what you said.
It's also not.
Well, what
true
he's
the
doing
world
is he's
over.
breaking the law. He's in the Epstein files more than Jesus Christ is mentioned in the Bible.
How is
He's a
he in the
convicted
Epstein
felon.
files?
He sexually assaulted somebody.
How?
Like, he's a horrible
Wait.
shit human.
How is he in the Epstein files?
If he would
How
release
is he
them,
not?
we'd know.
Yeah, that's how you guys always talk. Anyway, Diava, I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Diava.
So your guys' running thing is he's in the Epstein files 38,000 times. That 38,000 times.
980,000 times because of the redacted ones.
Okay, for sure, because all of us know what's in the redacted ones. Whatever.
Our lawmakers do, yeah, and
and they say it on House flooring so that they can lie without getting
Nope,
sued.
they've actually said
But
it
anyway,
outside of House chambers. Jamie Raskin has said it out of House chambers on the
Raskin did
steps.
not. Nope, that was on. Yeah,
Why
on
aren't
the
the
steps of the House.
If that number is wrong, why aren't the Republicans in Congress correcting that number?
Because they probably haven't even fucking seen anything or give a shit.
They all have
probably know
access
that.
to it.
You give a
You
shit.
probably
You're
know
here
that
talking about
Raskin's
it.
clearly lying, and nobody's going to believe a Raskin. Anyway,
Thomas
Massey
believes him. Also, Thomas Massey can see the reason that they haven't come out with the correct number.
38,000 times.
I'm not going to let you continue. The
including-
correct number is 980,000. You are not allowed to proceed in the live. If you want to keep talking about the number, we can. But
If you want to give me fucking proof of that, then give me fucking proof of that. Otherwise, I'm going to go with the 38.
I just did. Raskin announced it, and not a single Republican in Congress.
I don't
has-
care. That's not proof. You have to give me actual proof.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, they've all seen them too.
Yeah. Oh, you guys like MTG now? Okay,
No, we
for
do
sure.
not like MTG. but she's
Anyway,
a-
so
a
how is he?
broken
How is he in there? How is he?
Just because your voice is louder
Because
doesn't
it's
mean shit to me,
Mar-a-Lago?
fucker. Shut up.
Is she mute?
I am muting you
muting
because
you.
I'm not
I
as
don't-
nice as Oscar.
I don't
and
use
you're
the
just
mute button. Tell her to
railroading.
stop.
You're trying to
Tell her to
railroad me
stop.
in the middle of my sentence.
I'm not
Marjorie Taylor Greene
to
is like
talk
a
to you.
broken clock. Sometimes they're right twice a day. None of us like Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's speaking out about this. We just know that she's telling the truth because it's opposite of what she used to believe. Same with Thomas Massey, because they've seen the evidence and flipped their mind. They changed their mind after seeing what was in those files.
No, she's
It doesn't
just a
make them-
Jew
It
hater.
doesn't make them uncredible. It makes them more credible because they're going against their own party. And now she's out of Congress because they had so many death threats against her and her family that she's just like, fuck this shit, and left.
It's because she's a Jew hater. That's what happened. Trump stood behind Israel, and now she hates him. That's literally what happened.
That's
it's the same
not
thing with
correct.
Candace
He's always
Owens,
stood behind
Tucker
Israel.
Carlson. Yes,
Thomas
Nick
Massey,
Fuentes. It's the exact same thing.
Like
Lauren Boebert, Tucker Carlson.
What's
Alex
Lowen
Jones.
Boebert saying?
that Trump is implicated in the Epstein file. She voted to have them released. She was one of the people that flipped.
She signed the petition.
Perfect. So now, how is he implicated in the
Why did
I'm
Donald
here to
Trump?
talk.
Why did Donald
I'm
Trump?
here to talk to the host.
Why did Donald
Stop
Trump?
muting me.
Why did
Diava
Donald
is
Trump
co-host
take-
on this episode. She has the same authority
Yeah,
that
this
I do.
looks terrible.
And guess what?
For you.
No, I want you to answer the question. It looks terrible
You're
because you
terrible
won't let me ask my question.
You won't even let me talk.
Why did Donald Trump take Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene into the Situation Room?
Man, fuck yourself.
I wouldn't. Don't flatter yourself. Nobody wants you.
I need you to drop down. Stop muting me.
Did he run or did you kick him?
No, I kicked him. He can come back up if he can control himself.
Yeah, I don't think that he can.
They have no self-control. That's the problem. I wanted to ask him, why would Donald Trump take Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, those two ladies, into the Situation Room to try to strong arm and bully them into taking their name off the discharge petition so that this wouldn't pass?
Yeah.
Does that scream
I
innocent?
I ask that question every day, and again, like it's the sort of thing where it's like he's like, "Where's the proof?" And it's like, "Well, here's the proof." Like, what would he believe? I'm sure that if a Democrat came out and said, "Oh, that number's wrong. It's not 980,000," then he'd believe
Thank you
that.
for proving my point, by the way, guys.
I brought you back up because I said if you could have self-control, you can come back. So if
No,
you
you're
use
an emotional
self-control, you can
bitch.
stay.
I don't care about you. You can drop me back down.
Okay. Don't tell me
Okay,
to
go
good
fuck
time,
yourself.
motherfucker.
Okay, you want to talk to Uncle Steve? Is Uncle Steve
Sure.
friendly? Do we know Uncle Steve? I feel like I remember Uncle Steve, or maybe I've just seen him in the chat a lot. Hello.
That's why I just. That's why men. That's why men get so angry with me because I don't fall for their misogynistic bullshit and their machismo and their ego. They just don't like it that I'm a woman.
These people could actually talk to us for a longer time about the issues if they just didn't like use slurs and like yell over us. Uncle Steve, how old are you?
39. Jeez Louise.
Oh, we got a harassment and bullying flag. That's okay. It's the end of the live. I don't care. You're friendly, Uncle Steve?
Yes, I'm a friendly. My apologies. I thought you guys were still doing friendly time.
No. It is. We just friendly time has been infiltrated by a bigot, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. And I wanted to give 2 points. One, I wanted to go back and I forget the guy's name that y'all were talking to, where he started talking about NATO and all that other nonsense that he was spewing. Obviously, just very uneducated. But the one thing I need to say to a lot of people that just kills me is I'm in the military. I'm not going to say what branch, but with that being said, for those that talk about infiltrating and doing all those things, I would love to see you at a recruiting office. It would make sense that if you think America first so much, I would love you come join us. So if something like that would kick off, you could actually go forth and do great things, with a gun in your hand. But you don't, because you just sit behind and make all this noise about what you think is actually good for America, and it's not. Then secondly, when everybody talks about KH and why they didn't vote for her, one gentleman tried to make it sound like he didn't vote for her because of his certain policies. He didn't vote for her because he's racist. That's just what that was, right?
He actually convinced me pretty thoroughly that it wasn't because he was sexist, because he did vote for Hillary Clinton, and he didn't actually say anything that suggested to me that he was horribly sexist along the way. But we're definitely running out of reasons for Kamala Harris, and if it wasn't sexism, I think it was a different ism. I think you're right. I think you're right.
And Diava called it out clear as day. And I'll be honest with you, this is my first time on your live, and that's why when I jumped on, I definitely stayed. And I'm glad you brought up Isaiah, Diava, because I think you two would do great with each other. But you and Diava are a good pair, right? It's that yin and yang. So make sure you keep her up here, because when you get people like that Joshua guy up here, Oscar, you're a great kid, right? But you definitely need Diava there to put a foot in people's necks so they can, not take your kindness for weakness.
I will say that I do get that energetic sometimes, but it's just a different approach to it, where I do it so rarely that it hits. It's like everybody gets excited when Oscar starts yelling, because I don't yell that much.
Well, it's funny because when you start yelling, Diava then is sitting there waiting so she can come over top. And Diava, love you, right? And I want to apologize for any of the men with, I like to call it LDE. You guys can look that up later on. Little what energy, right? But with that being said, that's the thing we deal with all the time with these MAGA guys that really want to be gals too. That's why they don't like people that are trans, because they actually do like them in real life. They just need to, confess that and move on with their lives. So, but yeah, I just wanted to pop on, hit those 2 little notes, and truly get MAGA to understand that, listen, guys, this is a failure at its top of the presidency. If you've watched any other president, you can't align him to anybody. Now you can't even align him to George Bush, and George Bush was another one that we could talk about later on.
George Bush looks like a saint by comparison.
A saint. I'm talking about, he has me where if you guys would ask the question, would you vote for Trump or Bush? I would be at the ballot giving every vote that I could for George W. Bush. Bring back the lack of pronunciation and all that. I'll take that all day. Oscar.
Bush wasn't super good at public speaking, but honestly, with the lens that we have,
he looks like a genius.
Yeah, he looks great next to Trump.
Well, I think the one thing, and my bad for rambling, the thing that we have to understand is we are watching people who talk about DEI, right? I know I'm taking a left turn here, but when you talk about the way they utilize the word DEI, they try to make it seem like people are incompetent. And I'm watching the most incompetent office that we've ever seen in our history of America. And I need people to understand that right now, if you don't go to the polls in the next election, hopefully there's no weirdness to go on with the Constitution again with that, as he's trying to pull. But with that being said, if we don't look at this and go, we need people with competence in office, I don't know what else to tell you. We need education in office and not feelings and all this weird rhetoric. We just got all the weird people from like Twitter back in 2010 coming out of nowhere because they're all hidden racists, and now they can be racist because Trump's allowing them to do it.
And you talked about like facts over feelings in the office. And one question I try to ask, and I just never really get a satisfying answer, which obviously is why I asked this question. It's good for the show. But when I bring up 10 facts in a row and they go, no, that's liberal nonsense, no, that's bullshit, that's propaganda, I always just ask, how do you, pursuant to the sign for today, how do you tell what's true? Like, what do you, like, if you want to know what the unemployment rate is, where do you look? How do you, like, if all these things are nonsense because they say that I'm right, like, eventually I'm just right at a certain point. So, like, how do these people come to know anything about anything, and they will never admit that they are just believing what Trump says?
They just go to Trump's Twitter page or whatever it's called now. What is that? USA Force or whatever he does. So he posts his stuff there. But yeah, Truth Social, whatever that means, right? But hey, I want to appreciate your time. Just wanted to jump up. You guys are awesome. You got a supporter. I've been sharing your stuff out to Isaiah, and we'll go from there. You guys have a great day.
Appreciate you, Uncle Steve. Thanks very much. Oh yeah, I do love Friendly Hour. I haven't had as much time for it lately because I've been busy getting the VODs up for my show for the last week. But an announcement to everybody: the VODs are up. Yesterday's episode is like done. I just have to hit render on it after I conclude the live for today, and then I'm gonna quickly get this one up tonight. And going forward, this show will be on YouTube every day, just a few hours after it happens. Maybe sometimes the next day if I'm busy that day. But in general, I'm finally caught back up because I've been very busy dealing with some other stuff that's been going on. And I guess the guest just talked about telling these people if they're so concerned about what's going on the global military stage, go sign up, go enlist, put your money where your mouth is. And while I certainly don't want to enlist, I do like to stand on business a little bit and say that I do put my money where my mouth is by going out in person and protesting in person. The amount of death threats that I receive genuinely would deter a lot of people from doing this. But
check your Venmo.
Oh, I should check my Venmo? Who sent me a donation? I bet I have a nice note to read.
I just saw a comment that said check your Venmo, so I was just passing it along.
There's two. Okay, so Damien says the only time Article 5 NATO was ever called was after 9/11 when all the NATO nations came to the aid of the United States. Those countries lost soldiers in Afghanistan and Iraq. Thank you, Damien, for the $5. And we have made good use of NATO, and longtime listeners of the show will know that I identify as a 9/11 victim because my father worked there and it ruined his life and he drank himself to death about it. And I have really miserable asthma because I lived so close. I got that concrete and bone dust in my lungs, all that asbestos that wafted through the streets of Manhattan when I was 6 years old. So yeah, NATO's great and they helped us after 9/11, even though we fucked that one up and we kind of admit that we fucking goofed it completely. Will has also sent a $5 and he says great live and fuck Joshua. I think I can say that again. Fuck Joshua. All right, I'm gonna bring up April. We're gonna talk to April and see if they're a friend or foe. Because we are allowed to do debates during the friendly hour. It's just
I do too.
It's just the time when people are allowed to call and we don't stress out so much about the viewership. Though it's exciting that 250 people are still here with us hanging out. April, how old are you?
I am 42.
I believe you. Friend or foe?
I'm a friendly.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys had this opportunity because I watch these debate streams therapeutically. I live in a part of Texas where 80% voted for Trump. So definitely outnumbered and in unfriendly territory. And so I really enjoy watching streams. Really glad I found you. And I think this went really well. So thank you for putting yourself out there. I know it's a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think I would muscle through and do it without people like you coming and telling me that you appreciate what I'm doing, but it definitely helps with the motivation to keep at this because it is a fucking mountain of work.
Yes, and Diavana, I definitely want to check you out. Do you stream?
I do. I go live every single day from 4 to 10.
I'm going to go use the bathroom. I'll be able to hear the call, but you take the call and give yourself a
Okay, I'll go ahead and just do a self-plug then. I do go live. I go live every single day, 7 days a week, from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. So I will go every single day, 7 days a week. Next month will be 2 years straight that I've been doing it 7 days a week, and I've only missed 5 days. So I have been in the trenches for a while.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's frustrating because I've looked up even on Reddit, what are some, I watched probably the 2 biggest streamers. And I've looked, are there women? And I have raised 3 sons here in the enemy territory, and they've all managed to grow up to be raging feminists. It's wonderful. But
I'm in Florida, so I feel you.
Oh my gosh. And so I even was saying, why can't I find more women? And one was saying, Mom, MAGA men will not listen to women. There's no way to break through to them if there's any chance. And I kind of understand what they mean, but there are moments when topics are brought up like women's health, and I just wish a woman would jump in, and especially when we're talking about the AB issue. As a woman in her 40s, and you said you had a late pregnancy, I loved being a mom, and I work in education and love helping future generations. But if I became a mom now, or I became pregnant, it would be a risk to my life, right? There would be a risk there. As thrilled as I might be, I don't have the option if my life was on the line, at risk. And so I'm really passionate about this because a lot of times they don't say why, they speculate why abortion rates have gone up since Roe v. Wade, you know.
So if it was their goal to reduce abortions, it's not working.
Right,
So,
right. And this would, and because of this, I know there are other women like myself who would maybe consider early termination when they might not have otherwise, because they have a life to live. They have people to take care of and things to do, and they don't understand that this is a risk. You know, that would be a really hard decision to make. So they're really putting us in a corner.
Well, that's because of states like in Florida, you only have 6 weeks to make that determination. You don't usually find out till you're right at 6 weeks. You have to make a snap decision. Otherwise, you don't get access to it.
Exactly. So I've actually donated money before and just had to say that, like, hey, as a mom, a loving mom, I love kids. I would never normally, I mean, it's just, I'm very privileged, so I don't have to consider typically that tough decision. But I would now, and I know many women like me might, if it came down to that, because we might not have that life-saving option if it came down to that. So I was really glad to see that there is a lady streamer. So I'll be definitely, I've followed you and I'm going to be checking you out.
Oh, awesome. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, my last pregnancy, I was 41 and I was pregnant with twins and it almost cost me my life. So, yeah, no, if I had the opportunity, which I'm sure I'm 53 now, so my childbearing years are over. My twins are 12, but my childbearing years are over. But if I found that I was pregnant now, I absolutely would not. I would absolutely terminate it because number one, I'm in Florida. I wouldn't be able to after 6 weeks, and number two, if I got pregnant again, it probably would take me out. But yeah, I wouldn't have that choice otherwise. So I think having bodily autonomy is paramount to women in this country. Otherwise, it makes us second-class citizens.
Yes, yes. Thank you. And all the young men and that I've seen stream about this or answer, they do a great job. And I'm really glad it sounds like they're listening and they're hearing. And so it's not like a complaint, but it is refreshing to see lots of diverse answers to that question. So thank you guys.
Thanks for hopping up,
April. And thank you so much. And feel free to come check me out. If you like Oscar's calm, I'm just letting you know that I am not as calm as him, nor am I as nice. But that's just because I'm a woman, and the men come in thinking they're just going to come dog this woman, and they're very, misogynistic and ugly, and they, make comments and they call me names, and so I have to be a little bit more aggressive than probably the male creators because they don't get the same ire that we get from men.
Oh, I've gotten into arguments in the teachers' lounge. I totally understand. So,
yeah. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming up.
All right, y'all take care.
You as well. Thank you.
I'm just going to read a quick message from Alex, who sent me $10 on Cash App. He just wanted to say hi to Diava. So, hello, Diava, from Alex.
Oh, hi, Alex. I have my Cash App and Venmo in my bio, too. So if you guys want to throw us in Love My Way, you can. But I prefer you give it to Oscar at this moment since this is his live.
I do appreciate that. Today's been a good one. This is viewership wise. This has been a pretty exciting live. 300. Whoever follows me next, you're the 300th follower from this live stream. So thank you for whoever's about to hit that button and follow me. And I'm just so incredibly thankful that I can hop on here, and I'm at the point where it is just a math problem. If I do this every day, my account will continue growing, the viewership will continue growing. So I just have to continue working. So wow, so many followers just rolled in. Thank you so much for that.
Consistency is key.
Consistency is the thing. I am going to have to change the time from 10 to 12 to something else in a little bit here, but I'll figure out my schedule and I'll keep everybody posted on that as that date approaches. But yeah, the fact that I have such a good shot of doing this, and I no longer sit waiting for callers for too long. I pretty much always have somebody who wants to talk. It's just very exciting. I feel like I got to cut the line, and it's because of friends like Diava and people like Gosmarin and Midwest Progressive and Will and all the other mods in the chat who make it so that the show can run while I pay attention to the caller. There's like a team of people who make a show like this happen. So don't think it's just me, but I absolutely am so incredibly thankful for the support. It motivates me every day to go work my job and then come do the live and then go work my evening job and then do it all again the next day. Because life is busy.
I just want to thank my followers. I see Rubinator just came in here. He said, if Diava loves you, you're worth following. So everybody, yes, I give Oscar my full endorsement. Please give him a follow if you're not. because he's a really, really good content creator and very, very smart. Very smart. Yeah, I say young man, but he is 30. I know people think you're like a teenager because you do look young, but hey,
I clean shaved
ride
today.
that for as long as you can.
I thought it's Sunday. I got a clean shave, so all the Republicans who are normally at work, during the other days, can come in and think that I'm literally a teenager and try to big league me, and then it's like, nah, dude, I remember 9/11. I'm old. I think we'll take one more before wrapping it up. We got liquidity. We're gonna see what they're about. Oh, but Catherine just showed back up, so maybe we'll take two more before I retire.
Okay.
Hello?
How old are you, Liquidity?
I'm 21.
I believe you. You're friend or foe?
Mega.
Okay. Why?
Just because, certain policies, right?
Which ones?
Which ones?
Like the ones that pertain to immigration.
Yeah. So do you think the immigration problem is so bad that we should violate people's civil liberties to solve it?
Okay, listen. Okay. Like, we have to talk about what it means to, like, certain people. We give civil liberties to certain people, okay?
No.
We don't give it to everybody.
No, dude.
No.
There's a bunch
Alright.
of rights in the Constitution that are for everybody. The Constitution's very clear.
Okay.
Whether it's talking about citizens.
I'll
or persons.
rephrase it. We don't give everyone the same liberties to an extent.
Correct.
No,
Okay.
correct.
And, I'd like to add another thing. When these founding fathers were making these bills and shit, they couldn't have seen that we were going to have Florida and Texas and California.
They couldn't have seen that we were going to have
Yes.
AR-15s. Should we get rid of the Second Amendment?
Exactly. And the thing is, right?
Yes
no.
or no? Should
No.
we get rid-
And
Why
the
not?
thing is,
They couldn't have foreseen what weapons would become. We didn't have any of the
had a
guns that
musket.
because it's completely different. It's completely different.
No, it's not.
No, it's
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. 100%.
It's the same argument.
100%.
It's the
No,
same
because
medical argument.
I'll show you why. Okay.
No.
You guys don't have to draw
Show me
conclusions so
me an
fast.
oil painting
You
of George
can't draw
Washington with,
okay,
with
listen.
an AK-47.
Because AK-47.
I'm kind of clowning on you, but like my point is that there's stuff that the time that a lot of these bills amendments were written in made it hard for them to predict what was going to happen, and that's why we continually update the Constitution.
Okay,
we amend
let's say
the Constitution to fix those things. The president signing an executive order is not how we do that, and when the president does that, it's fucking unconstitutional. He's breaking the rules.
Listen, okay.
Listen, I'm listening. I know
Sometimes
that I said something
rules-
right because you go listen because it gives you an extra second to think of the bullshit you're about to say.
No.
Try again.
Okay, relax. Okay. We have to understand, right, that rules are a human construct, okay? They're just something we have created.
Yeah, you know what? The
rules
rules
of the land.
that say
it's
that
not the law of the people's
the
spirit.
rules that say that Trump shouldn't have raped
Okay.
anybody. Social constructs, man. Like bunch of wishy-washy
Under
nonsense.
what purview did he do this?
I'm gonna.
Exactly. Okay.
Under what purview? What is that even? What is that question even?
Yes, under. Jesus, that's brutal.
Dude, you called in during the friendly hour. I'm like really careful about how I handle my debates when I do my 2 hours of debating. This is the fuck up hour. You have intruded on our safe space, and we are fucking with you in return. Welcome to the show,
Dude. I'm not like fucking with you guys though. I'm actually trying to I'm trying to help you guys actually.
I said
I'm
you
actually
intruded
trying to
on our
help you guys see
show,
the light.
and in return, we are fucking with you. I didn't accuse you of fucking with us.
I'm not okay, yeah, but I'm trying to help you guys. All right, you should
not
be
going to
absorbing
be
what
able
I'm
to do
saying. You shouldn't be so defensive. Okay.
We're not defensive. You're just wrong.
You really? I'm actually no. I'm very well informed on this stuff. I'm one of the most informed people on this. Yes.
No.
And I understand almost every aspect of
I
this.
could say that, but I don't because it would make me look like an asshole.
The fact of the matter is, right?
Grandiose opinion of himself.
It's not grandiose. It's actually based entirely in reality. And
your
the
reality.
thing is, right? We couldn't have suspected that these people would have came over here in the way they're coming over here, and they couldn't have. They could have had suspected that they were living in their conditions, and America would have these conditions, and people would be coming here in mass, bringing the cultures that created their conditions here. All right.
Wrong. See, I told you he's just a racist.
How would they have known that then?
Homogeny.
How would they have known that
He's talking
then?
about they're not assimilating because they're bringing their culture from there to
No,
here. Just
that's
shut the fuck up,
no,
dude. You're
that's
just a
actually
racist
incorrect.
piece of shit, my guy.
I'm black. And that's not what I'm saying,
Camera on.
Diavo. That's not what I'm saying.
Nope. Turn your camera on. Prove it.
I do actually want proof that you're black. Because a lot of people come on here and say that, and I just don't believe a lot of them. So like, you could even if you don't want to show your face,
I kind of don't. I don't really like how
you could point the camera at your hand and like.
Nope.
This kind of feels like a weird situation.
Camera or nothing else, dude.
Like, do I have to show my face?
Show your hand. You can show a hand. Show. Give us a peace sign with your hand.
When you turn your camera on, hit save. Otherwise, we can't see it.
Is he trying?
I don't know.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I believe him. Wait, yeah, it was small. I didn't get it expanded in time, but I believe him.
So now that we've cleared that up, all right. I don't really like how you guys did that, but you're welcome.
I love doing this because now, so I get to call you a race traitor. I always make sure to call people race traders.
I'm not a race traitor.
Yes, you are. You support Donald Trump as an African American.
No, okay. In what way? In what way?
Absolutely, dude. Like, you're not tracking what's going on to minorities, are you? You understand the type of danger you're in walking down the street because
I'm not.
of Donald Trump?
First of all, I'm not all minorities, right? That's the first thing.
You're a minority.
You're a minority. You're
I'm not. Yeah, but you're saying minorities like. That's
just
crazy.
Like Latino people, he doesn't see you any different, boo.
Okay, Ashkenazi people are also a minority, but I also consider them white. They're also pretty white. You know what I mean? So let's lock in here.
I'm just saying, dude. Like, this is an administration that supports Kavanaugh stops. Like the ICE can detain you because of your skin color. That's bad.
Or
I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide, though. Right?
Or having an accent.
If I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to hide, though.
Oh yeah, bend over and.
I'm not going to start my car and start running people over, right? So I'm not going to start kicking people's lights out. You know what I mean?
Bend over, take it like a good boy.
Yeah, lick those boots, man. Like for real. Like,
okay.
You choose not to exercise.
I'd rather call it good survival instincts. I call it good survival
instincts. Exercise your Fourth Amendment right. Does that mean that nobody should exercise their Fourth Amendment right?
Well, the legal realness of things, right? The Constitution is only upheld to the extent that it's enforced. Okay?
What is legal realness?
Many
legal realness
stoppages in traffic are unconstitutional. Illegal searches and seizures.
Responding. In a court of law, we would call this non-responsive, Your Honor.
Really?
You're not fucking answering the question. What is legal what do you say? Legal reasonableness or whatever?
Legal realness is what he said.
Realness, yeah. What's legal realness? Please give us a definition. Go ahead. You can unmute. And your proximity to whiteness will not save you.
Okay, first of all, right, you have to relax. Okay,
legal
you have to
realness.
calm down.
Legal realness.
What do you mean?
What is that?
What
you
is
said
legal
you said
realness?
according to legal realness. What the fuck is that?
It's basically the law versus the law in action. Okay.
That doesn't make any sense.
A realist would see how laws are applied in the court and on the street, in the stations, in the offices, okay?
Yeah, I was a court reporter.
Over how they exist in written statutes, okay? So you have to calm down.
Realism is a thing. I don't think it's what you're talking about. I'm skimming this Wikipedia article right now.
All right, yes, whatever. I got the word mixed up. Okay, we can just you guys are so tight about this. I feel like just relax.
We're really on top of our shit on this debate live.
It's just a couple of letters, man. It really is.
Words matter. That's what we do. It's all words, dude. You're talking to us. Words.
Words matter.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, that one didn't really.
It does matter.
Legal realism is a naturalistic
right?
approach to law. It is the view that jurisprudence should emulate the methods of natural science. That is, it should only rely on empirical evidence. Hypotheses must be tested against observations in the world. I actually agree with that. And I have observed in the world that ICE is violating the civil liberties of people like yourself, and you are a fucking race traitor for not thinking that's a big deal.
I'm not a race. You're bold. Okay, no, but the fact of the matter is, right, I'm not a race traitor.
You are.
I'm doing this for my race, right? I'm doing this for black people.
Oh, give me a break, dude.
No, seriously.
Nobody believes your stupid shit, my guy.
All right, okay. I mean, you can just be as inflammatory as you want, but it's just a simple fact.
That's not inflammatory. You're lying.
It is. You're just trying to get a rise out of me. It's
How is he going to help black people?
Well, essentially,
for other people to be marginalized.
Okay, well, you can ask questions, but you're not waiting for an answer.
Wait, what's Trump's approval rating among African Americans? I'm going to Google it.
Doesn't matter.
It matters.
If it comes from if you get this from a news source, all right, if you get this from a poll of a news source, I'm sorry.
Fake news.
I know
these facts don't support my feelings.
Dude,
therefore they're fake.
Dude, I'll take any census, bro. All right, I'll take any agency,
okay, bro.
I'll take any .gov. All right, no fucking none of your CNN.
So you're only going to trust facts that come from the government that we're trying to criticize?
Oh, okay. Who's the conspiracy theorist now, huh?
I'm just saying.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
This guy's a fucking joke.
All right, sure. That's just cope because I'm right. But
no, you're
what we were saying earlier is how is this benefiting black people?
Would you take a .edu?
And this actually, sorry?
Would you take a .edu?
What's the what are the words before the .edu?
Northeastern
Northeastern.edu.
Northeastern University.
I wish I had my
College
laptop
of
on me.
Sciences and Humanities, because they're reporting about 15%.
I don't know. Like, what is what's that organization's goal? What do they primarily do?
They educate people. They're a university.
They educate people in what though? In what?
Social sciences and humanities.
In person, or just like they just go on the internet?
Like any source that you disagree with, you're going to ask a million.
Well, no, I know, dude, because if it was from a school, right? No, I would totally be on board if it was like Harvard and they were educating people and they came out with a study and they said this. But I can buy a domain. I can fucking do whatever I want in HTML. I can say whatever.
University.
You can buy an EDU, yes, an EDU.
This is absurd, Oscar. This is dumb. He has nothing.
Dumb. Yeah, he's got
his
nothing.
frontal cortex lobe hasn't even finished developing, which is why.
Right, so this is just coping because you can't.
No, you're just.
You can't handle the debate, actually. So you can't handle the debate.
I am going to drop.
You're very immature, actually.
Very mature. I'm going to drop him because it's what the chat's asking for. But he's doing the thing that like I talk about a lot, which is that you're playing the 3-year-old. But why game where it's like, oh, but what university? Oh, that's a bullshit university. Who works there? What's the name of the president? Does that president have any parking tickets? It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, ask anybody who reports polling data, and they will tell you that the approval rating for Donald Trump among African Americans is a 2-digit number that begins with 1. That is the answer you will get no matter where you look. But he's just going to deny that he's a race traitor. Because I really make a point of saying that people who are a member of the races that Donald Trump's government are going after are fucking race traitors for supporting it. It's horrible.
What's that?
Maybe Catherine's a friendly. Maybe
such a disingenuous argument, and he didn't even have an argument. He didn't have anything coherent. It's all over the place.
Catherine, how old are you?
Hi, I am 41.
Are you friendly?
I am a friendly.
Welcome to the show. I think you're going to be our last one for the day as I try to wrap up by 1 o'clock, and it is currently 12:43. So you have the floor. What's up?
All right. So just 2 quick things. First, the last guest, he was 21 and thinks he knows everything. Like, how freaking juvenile is that?
Yeah. I'm 30 and I don't think I know everything.
Right. I'm 41. I don't think I know everything. I know that I don't know everything, which is why I research and read and, all that stuff. But he thinks he knows everything, so he'll never expand his mind and learn things. So that was he was exhausting.
If you're that sure about everything at 21, there's a good chance you're not going to learn anything over the next 10 years of your life.
Facts.
As somebody who just lived those 10 years, I'm a very different guy than I was back then. I wasn't a bigot or a monster 10 years ago, but I have learned some things.
Yeah. I honestly have never been a bigot, except for, like, when I was young and I was in the church and stuff and they were against gay people, then, until I learned better. But that I forgive myself because I was indoctrinated by the church. So I escaped that cult.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it out. The church
Me
makes
too.
people believe some very silly things.
It does. The second thing is a little more lighthearted. I have a good joke for you.
Let's hear it.
How many MAGA does it take to change a light bulb?
How many?
0. Trump will tell them it's fixed and they rejoice in the dark.
I was trying to come up with some kind of answer like that. Like, what light bulb? There is no light bulb. The light bulb is a Democratic hoax.
The light bulb is fake news.
I know lots about light bulbs. When I was in Harvard, I taught classes on light bulbs. I know everything. Yeah, no, just everything is just gaslighting and fucking nonsense.
Yep.
And that's the thing. I guess I chose the right sign for the way that today's show ended up going. But it's the question I so often want to ask when people bring all this fucking nonsense to my show is like, who told you that? Why do you think that? That's not how that works. That's self-evidently untrue because it's illogical. Or here's a bunch of evidence to the contrary, or whatever the thing is. They accuse us of regurgitating talking points, but the reason that people get so sweaty when they're in the seat on my show is because I'm not sitting here like trying to memorize what the response to all these things is. I just have general knowledge about everything that's going on. So I just say I'm just riffing. I'm just talking about the things I know. So when somebody gives me some bullshit, I say, why you learn that? Where'd you learn that bullshit? That obvious bullshit. That's bullshit for these obvious reasons. And they don't like that at all. It messes with their little script they're reading from their Fox News talking points or whatever it is.
I just got a comment. So Momo, that was so funny. I eat light bulbs for breakfast. Everyone knows it. That's good. But anyways, I just wanted to come say hey, and I just found your live today. It's amazing. Good job. Keep up the good work, both of you. I followed both of you.
Welcome to the show. Appreciate you.
Yeah, y'all take care. Okay.
Have a good one.
Too. You too.
How nice. All right, we got Mattress Mike. Mattress Mike was causing a ruckus in the chat, but I don't know what type of ruckus it was. He ran as soon as I said his name. He gone. Goodbye. Oh wait, no, he's back. We're gonna talk to Mattress Mike. Am I in trouble, chat? Is this gonna be trouble? Mattress Mike, tell us how old you are.
I am 48.
48. What's up, Mattress Mike? Are you friendly?
Absolutely.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Yeah, so I just put a thing that if anyone can name a few things that Trump did good.
Oh, sure. Operation Warp Speed is the example I like to regurgitate. That was good.
How about just how it just classified psychedelics being able to be researched for mental health?
Watch the language around DRUGs. But yes, he's doing some DRUG reclassifications. He did that with the other green one as well. That's good stuff. The president does so many things, It's like, there are some days where he doesn't go on the TV at all. That's good.
Yeah. Well, that's all I wanted to say is, trust me, I am a friendly, and there are a few good things, and the rest of this stuff is bad. Got to go, but appreciate you guys.
Have a good one, Mattress Mike. Yeah, I literally had a call, I think yesterday, the day before, where somebody said, he said I had TDS, so I gave them the classic, all right, how do we define TDS? What are the diagnostic criteria? And he said, you can't say anything good about Trump. So I listed some good things about Trump, and then he said, okay, you can't say anything bad about Biden. So then I said something bad about Biden, a few things that I didn't like about Biden, and then he just steamrolled and said that I had TDS because I met his criteria, even though... no.
And people probably think that none of us left creators actually disagree with each other. Like we're all whatever you say is right. I disagree with you about Biden.
Oh, yeah.
I do believe that he will go down in history once everyone clears their mind of Sleepy Joe and all this stuff. I believe he's going to go down in history as one of the most consequential presidents we've had in our lifetimes because he had the most policy and the most good.
Oh no, I actually do agree with you on that. I just think that on the day he finished his term, he was too old and his mental acuity was not sufficient for him to be president. So
I think he was fine. Yes, he had a really bad debate, but he also had COVID, and I'm not saying that as an excuse.
Yeah.
But anyone who's sick is just not going to be at their top anyway. But yes, you could tell. But if you go and look at just either a few weeks or a few months later, where he gave a talk about foreign affairs. He talked for 45 minutes straight about every single country in this world and how we fit with them geopolitically. And it was almost a masterclass in geopolitics. And he never even stumbled. So I think his mental acuity was there. He was old. I agree. But I don't think, okay. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. I can keep talking. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that we disagree about some minutia about this because at the end of the day, when Biden was running before he backed down, the thing I said is that we have Trump and we have Biden, and both of them are 80. Both of them have a good chance of not surviving their term just because of how old they are. Never mind how their actual physical health is doing. Biden's obviously in better physical health than Trump, but we can question both of their mental acuities. But what I said at the time is that Biden is surrounded by a constitutionally minded administration that either if they need to 25 them, they'll 25 them and get him out of there.
Correct.
Or if they even if they are puppeting him and weekend at Bernie'sing it and he's totally incompetent, they're still going to at least be supporting his policy positions, whereas Trump is surrounded by a bunch of fascistic monsters who are going to get to work, running their fascistic machine effectively if Trump gets 25th. So that was my argument for Biden before he backed down. I'm glad that he backed down, but again, this is fucking splitting hairs. Biden's presidency was a good one. You and I tag teamed listing some things that he and Kamala Harris did that were fantastic with a caller earlier. So you've heard me say the phrase plenty times, Diava. I'm actually going to give you some pushback on that. I say that all the time to friendlies because we don't fucking agree about everything. We agree that the president should follow the Constitution. That's the big thing. That's the only important thing right now. We're gonna see.
And I like that Joe Biden was actually humble and humane. He treated people with dignity and respect. He was empathetic, and when soldiers passed or when he would meet people, he was warm and genuine.
He didn't mock any disabled people.
No, he was just a genuinely good man.
He didn't call women names in public at all.
He was actually a very devout practicing Catholic, and I believe personally held more pro-life views. But he also knows that his job as the leader of this country, with a country of diverse people, his personal beliefs shouldn't be brought into policy. Because I believe he was kind of pro-life-ish at the beginning. And, so he's probably since changed and progressed, but that's also because of their age, LGBTQ and, women and all of these different things have come up as being more mainstream than when he was a young man.
Well, and
so
also on that kind of longitudinal arc thing, like a lot of my criticisms of Biden about his career are that he's an old enough white dude that he voted for some bills I don't fucking like back in the 80s, he did some bad stuff for DRUG enforcement and for criminality around minorities and stuff like that.
Are you talking about the 1994 crime bill?
That and some other things, but he admitted he was wrong. He said that he's grown up and learned that those were not good policies. They didn't work out well, and he apologized for it because he's able to take ownership for that sort of thing, which is something that Trump can't do. Trump has never apologized for anything he's done in office. But it's all splitting hairs because he wasn't a fucking traitor is really the important thing. It doesn't matter that we don't agree on everything. You and I don't agree completely on gun control. We've talked a little bit about that.
That's true.
And we don't need to drag that up because the important thing is I think we both, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, we both recognize about each other that we both want kids to be safe. We both want America to be a happy and free place where people don't get unalived by guns unnecessarily. That's
100%.
We again, we're talking about splitting hairs here, which we can get back to doing when democracy in America is functioning again. When we don't have a tyrant in the office, we can start talking about all that stuff fastidiously again. That can become the full-time conversation.
Yeah, and since we have a bunch of friendlies, I think this is an important thing to say. And I say that on my live all the time, is that we can go back to splitting hairs and we can go back to the little ideologically differences between moderate Democrats and progressive Democrats and and all that kind of stuff. We can go back to fighting all that, but we can't get any of it until we get a Democrat back into office. And so I have heard people and I've seen people make comments on here. Well, if so-and-so runs, I'm not voting for them. If it's Newsom, I'm not voting for them. Guess what? We don't have the luxury to be splitting hairs between whether we like one thing that Newsom did or didn't do and not vote for him because he's not as progressive as you like. We're not going to get anywhere unless we get the fascist regime out.
Well, so it's exactly what I say to people when they're like, oh, so you voted for a rapist because you don't like the way that Kamala Harris laughs? What the actual fuck is wrong with you? And you're just kind of making the policy version of that argument where it's like, oh, you voted for a rapist because you didn't like that she's going to do this or that, whatever.
Right.
Hair
purity
splitting.
politics. It's purity politics that's hurting the Democrats because we are usually more intellectual. It's just more college educated people vote Democrat. And we have a lot of these ideologies and most of us are all educated and we're smart and we think we have really good ideas, that we kind of lose the forest for the trees and we play this purity culture that if they don't meet all of our criteria, well, I'm not voting for them. We've got to stop doing that. We're shooting ourselves in the foot by doing that.
Well, I mean, I love asking the question when people talk about trans rights because I do actually like talking about trans rights because I think it's important and it's just a fresh topic because it doesn't get a lot of airtime on my show. But I do always have to say,
everyone else's though.
Maybe they don't like talking to me about it because I'm fucking good at talking about it. But I always have to bring it back to this place of the rules about who can use the bathroom. I really do care about them. But having a person who is a convicted felon who's not allowed to own firearms because of that have the nuclear launch codes is just such a bigger problem. So I always ask the question, when in your lifetime has a trans person used a bathroom in a way that you found disruptive? It could be an example of this being a problem ever to anyone. And just let them pee. They're just trying to urinate. They're just trying to go to the bathroom. This small number of
Oscar,
people.
the problem with that, not the problem, but the thing with that is that we've been going to the bathroom with transgender people. And I don't know about you, but in my younger years, when you go out to bars or concerts or sporting events or whatever, the women's bathroom would be 85 miles long and the men's bathroom would have 3 or 4 guys in it. So us women would go over and go into the men's bathroom because we were about to pee our pants and couldn't wait that long. I used to go into the men's bathroom all the time, go into a stall, pee, and leave. And there was a men in there too. But
my bigger thing is that if we just unisexed the bathroom,
it doesn't
the whole
matter,
problem would
though.
go away. If we just Like, I don't know, make the stalls a little, I don't know, more secure, right? Make the doors taller.
How about no gaps?
Yeah.
How about putting a door?
No. Well, I do know the reason we do that. It's because then you need to ventilate each one, and that's expensive. So, like, construction-wise, there's a reason we do the cheap, weird bathroom stalls that you can look under. So it is, but we're seeing it. You know, like society's getting better. Things are getting, more expensive all the time. And if one of the things is that we make better bathrooms that everybody can use, so the problem just goes away. That's just
make them unisex.
Just make them unisex. I mean, and I've gone to shows where, because of what you just said, where if, like, women's bathrooms, even if it's a 50-50 crowd at like an event, the women's room is always going to be busy. So if it's a 75-25 crowd and I'm there as, like, the odd man out, as one of the guys who, like, got brought to a show by my girlfriend or whatever, like, those are shows where they tend to just make both the bathrooms unisex for the day, because, like, just it's better, just easier to not have everybody waiting in line outside the women's room.
Or do single stalls. Just do single stalls like you do at Starbucks. Everybody uses one bathroom, and I'm not saying that's a fix for everything, but not for big sporting events and stuff like that. But then just have individual stalls or individual,
Well, and
ones.
it's just one of those things that people have been convinced is a really important issue. And
it's just not a problem.
It's just like, why do you fucking care? Like, why does it matter? Oh, they're going after kids. Show me the evidence of trans people assaulting children in bathrooms. It's not a fucking...
You can Google it, and it comes with not even children, anyone.
Angry. Yeah, it's just not an issue. It's just and in fact, the sexual criminals are underrepresented among trans people. Again, if we want to talk about like the likelihood of a person being a sexual criminal, 100% of the U.S. presidents are a sexual criminal, because Donald Trump is a sexual criminal.
Correct. And I'm sorry, but us women do not need to be protected. We are not scared of transgender women in our bathrooms, because we are not assaulted by transgender women. We are assaulted by cis men.
Yeah. Well, the trans women that would then be forced to use the men's room under these policies would be at great risk
and
of being assaulted.
And then they became more attacked.
Yeah, the very chuds that want to create these policies are the assholes that would assault a trans person for walking into the men's room. Because I'm like, they don't even really like think about it that far. It's like, do you really want these trans women that you hate so much using your bathroom? Do you want them in there with you? Because they want to be in the women's room with the other people who wear dresses, with the other people who use the stall instead of the urinal. Like you just
exactly
like. Come on, dude. Like, just it's not.
It's such a non-issue. It's just not an issue. If you Google how many crimes have been reported by transgender people assaulting people,
leftist data. These numbers are made up. They don't agree with my feelings. It's horseshit.
And then the guy in the comment section says, "Us men don't want them in our bathroom either." Well, where do you want them to piss?
Yeah, more bathrooms? No, just unisex them. Lady Pepsi, you're friendly? How old are you?
45.
Sorry, I didn't hear. You broke up for a second there?
I'm 45.
Last call of the day. The floor is yours.
I'm friendly. I agree with everything you're saying, but I also love to play devil's advocate as well. The arguments that I will agree with would be the ones I'll speak on. Is as I work in corrections, so the one point that I agree with that people say is, like she said, we don't have a problem with trans people in our bathrooms. That's not a thing. We don't care. We've never cared. Matter of fact, I've had a few of them help me out. But
exactly,
if you say yes to one situation, then you have to say yes to all situations, which opens the door for non-trans people to, I guess, cosplay would be the best for access.
But nobody's doing
because
that.
of the opening. Of the availability.
Can I take a walk with Daniel?
No, but nobody's doing that. That's not a problem either.
Yeah, I it's one of those things where I just need to see that it's happening, because you can make up a thing that people are doing that sounds bad, and we just need to. We can't write every law that gets rid of every possible imagined situation. Like, something needs to be a real issue for us to give it legislative attention. And I'm sorry, but I kind of don't believe you.
It's an issue that doesn't need to be addressed by law at all. So therefore, no doors are opened or closed.
Well, I mean, I think that for the most part, we agree about the big thing here, which is that Republicans are hatefully using this topic as an excuse to distract away from actually important issues.
Because they don't have abortion to run on anymore. They don't have immigrants to run on anymore. So they had to have another boogeyman. Fascist leaders have to have a common enemy. And right now they have put their ire on transgender people and LGBTQ in general.
Anything else before I let you go and do the post roll, Lady Pepsi?
That was my only point.
Thanks for hopping up. I appreciate you. DiavaTalks, give yourself a commercial before I say goodbye to everybody.
All right, guys. In just 2 short hours, at 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be going live as I do every single day, 7 days a week from 4 to 7 p.m. And like Oskar, or he maybe fashioned it after me, I don't know. But I go live the first 2 hours, 4 to 6, for only Trump voters. Then from 6 to 7, we do friendly time. So if you would like to come check me out, I am going to be going live in 2 hours at 4 p.m. Eastern. And we got 125,000 likes, Oskar.
Yeah, I saw Will just mention that in the chat. It doesn't even show me on the thing I'm looking at. It just says 0.1 million. That's very exciting. The engagement today has been out of this world. Lots and lots of new followers, 325 new followers. So thank you for everybody who just got here. Diava just gave her commercial, and she gave a little bit of a commercial for me. Right now, I'm 10 to 12 Central Standard Time. Sometimes longer than that, just depending on how my day is going. And I do a similar thing where the first chunk of the show, usually 2 hours, is that debates only, and then I adjust to friendlies, which I like to call the Just Us Girls Hour. But it's a little softer for me. It doesn't always start exactly at a particular time. It just kind of whenever the show devolves into that. But we do a fairly similar thing in very different ways. Diava's way less patient and way more mean than me, and it's very, very entertaining. But my whole thing is that I'm so patient that's entertaining. So we have different approaches to the same problem. But I'm gonna say goodbye and give you the kick, Diava, if you want to say goodbye.
All right. I just wanted to say great live today. Super excited. Today was an awesome live. And you're doing amazing. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you so much. It's meant the world to me that I have people like Diava who come and give me the boost because she's a much bigger channel than me, much more experienced, teaching me the ways, reminding me to do the things and getting me better at this. So I will end with a quick commercial for myself, which is that there's a link tree in my bio. I have met my 10,000 follower goal on Instagram, so that's very exciting. There's like new features and monetization and stuff I get on there. So thanks to everybody who came over to Instagram. Thanks to everybody from Instagram who came over to here and saw the live after seeing the clips of the live that I post there. The new goals are on YouTube because I have like no followers on there, but the YouTube VODs are getting posted. I'm going to post yesterday's this afternoon. I'm going to post this one that you're watching a little bit later tonight, but I'm going to keep it rolling. You can watch the show anytime you want on there when I'm not live. I also do in real life stuff, and next week, this is the plan. I'm pretty sure that this is happening, so I'm going to tentatively announce it because I'm like 99% sure this is happening. But me and Dr. Dankenstein 42069, my trolling buddy from over on Instagram, we are going to go down to Iowa because I live in Minnesota, and we are going to do some in real life trolling at a Turning Point USA event. So he and I have to consider that the security might be different after what happened yesterday, but we are going to go do some in real life trolling next Saturday in Iowa. So if you're interested in a debate host who does actually out on the ground stuff, I go to the Whippo building and protest here in Minneapolis, all that stuff, hit up the link tree in the bio, and you can follow me on all the stuff to see all the things. And if you feel like sending me some money, then I'll be able to spend more time working on this stuff because it is a massive amount of work running this social media thing I'm doing. And there are direct ways that you can support me if that's what you feel like doing. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for the engagement. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the chat staying under control. Thanks to all the mods. Oh my God, there's like half a dozen mods who are in here working for me. Thanks to all of you. Have a wonderful day.